Chapter 282. Just now, I actually shot an impromptu movie. Li Fan laughed. Isn't the special effect amazing? Don't talk nonsense. I can't tell if it's a special effect or not. Liao Wushuang gently poked Li Fan's forehead with her finger. You brat. I didn't see it. Your martial arts is very powerful, but it seems not as cool as Bruce Lee. Li Fan didn't know what to say. Although Bruce Lee was powerful, he was only an external master. How could he be compared with an internal master like him? You have such a good martial arts foundation, why don't you become a martial arts star? Liao Wushuang obviously didn't know much about martial arts. She only regarded Li Fan as an ordinary external master. This is internal force. Li Fan was somewhat unconvinced as he told Liao Wushuang. Liao Wushuang asked while ordering the hot pot. What you said is true. Then do you know the 18 dragon subduing palms? This time, Li Fan was stumped. These girls, when it comes to internal force, must they think of the 18 dragon subduing palms. The palm technique described in Jin Yang's novel was indeed very powerful. Li Fan could still remember the appearance of Qiao Feng and Yang Guo in the TV series, who shot out a golden dragon with one palm. In reality, he could also do it, but his true qi had no color, and its shape was relatively vague. Moreover, only when Li Fan entered the state of Toad Strike could he condense his true qi into some shape. The one who could do this best should be Murongying. She could turn the virtual into the real, and turn the true qi into other vivid images. But Li Fan's ability was the abnormal bone-changing ability, and his control of true qi was still slightly immature. This was just what Li Fan thought. If others knew that he could divide 3,000 true qi in one breath, they would probably be jealous to the point of peeing. What do you think? You can't even do the 18 dragon subduing palms, how can you call yourself an internal master? Li Fan suddenly didn't know how to explain. Didn't I say that those illusory inner force skills don't exist? Liao Wushuang insisted on her view. Meanwhile, the steaming hot pot was served. Li Fan didn't respond and focused on eating the meat. As a martial practitioner, replenishing energy was the key. Scientifically speaking, the energy in the human body is conserved. Liao Wushuang told Li Fan from her point of view, like true qi, such a huge power, how can it exist in a fragile carrier like the human body? It was just like how a pistol had to have a hard enough chamber to fire bullets. The human body is made of flesh and blood, so how is it possible to emit true qi? The human body is a universe, and it has its own yin and yang. The yin and yang energies are the key to the cultivation of martial practitioners. This is too unscientific. I can't believe it. Liao Wushuang shook her head. Li Fan used his chopsticks to knock on the hot pot in front of him. Take this hot pot as an example. We have a dantian in our bodies. It's like the hot water in the pot. It's constantly boiling, creating this steaming hot air. But the water in the pot is heated by charcoal or electromagnetic heating. Liao Wushuang continued to ask, where does the human body get charcoal? Where does the energy come from? The first is the intake of food. Li Fan continued to explain, but the intake is only a small amount. The other is the cultivation of the human body's own energy. The true qi circulates once, producing more true qi. This is meditation. This completely violates the law of conservation of energy. Liao Wushuang shook her head again, obviously not believing it. In short, true qi is illusory and illusory. Just like Chinese medicine, there's no scientific basis for witchcraft. There's no way to believe it. Liao Wushuang stayed in the West for too long and was brainwashed by the West. Li Fan didn't know how to help her correct her thinking. The battle between Chinese medicine and Western medicine is not something that can be ended by Li Fan alone. Forget it, I won't argue with you. Anyway, today is your birthday. You're the oldest. Liao Wushuang suddenly smiled at Li Fan, it's fine as long as you're happy. If you like to practice martial arts, it's good to have a good body. But don't be too superstitious about those illusory qigong and the like. Yes, 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 Teacher Liao is right. Li Fan was completely speechless. This girl is too stubborn. Obviously, everything is happening in front of her, but she doesn't believe it. But this is also good. After all, they are ordinary people. It's better to stay away from the world of martial artists. The battle between martial artists is basically a life and death struggle. If a fragile girl like Liao Wushuang is involved, it will be very dangerous. This kind of danger, let him bear it alone. Li Fan ate the hot pot and filled his stomach. His mood was a lot better. In short, today is his birthday. Forget all the unhappy things. But today's hot pot, he felt that the meat was especially tender and the taste was much better than in the past. Why is today's hot pot so delicious? Li Fan couldn't stop eating at all. Could it be that there were poppies? Fuck you, this is a very famous restaurant. Liao Wushuang pointed to the nearby plate of firebird meat. Every ingredient is the best quality meat. The taste is naturally good. Isn't it just hot pot? How good can it be? Li Fan said and pulled the menu over. Seeing that a plate of meat costs 3 digits, he was so scared that he almost vomited the food he just ate. Fuck, this is a scam. Li Fan ate such an expensive hot pot for the first time. Do you need to be so scam? A plate of beef for 780 yuan. This is the finest Wagyu beef. Liao Wushuang is very natural, as if this is her cafeteria. Although the taste is not particularly authentic, it's not bad. In the mainland, it's rare to eat such good Wagyu beef. Teacher Liao. Can we eat ordinary hot pot next time? It's hard for me to eat my fill like this. Li Fan is telling the truth. This 780 yuan plate of meat is not even enough to fill the gap between his teeth. Don't worry, it's just a little pocket money. Eat as much as you want, my birthday girl. Liao Wushuang spoke lightly as if she doesn't care about this at all. Li Fan is very embarrassed and put down his chopsticks. What's wrong? I have a feeling of being a gigolo. Li Fan said truthfully. Li Fan, I really didn't expect you to be such a male chauvinist. Liao Wushuang is a little helpless, but she rolled her eyes and suddenly said, didn't you give me a set of clothes? We're even. That's not the same. Li Fan is not a child. He won't be coaxed by this sentence. Just when the atmosphere between the two of them is a bit stiff, a strange voice came from the side. Yo, isn't this the little overlord? What, you want to sell your kidney to eat here? Chapter 283. This annoying voice, but it was very familiar. Li Fan looked up, and sure enough, it was the eldest son of the Yang family, Yang Ruining. Beside him was the cold and iron-faced female bodyguard, Shinmengjie. Li Fan was very curious, what did this Shinmengjie look like? Those who liked to use masks to cover their faces were either very beautiful or very ugly. And this Shinmengjie, what kind did she belong to? But no matter which kind, she and Yang Ruining were the same, belonging to the category of ugly hearts. To actually eat in this kind of place, Li Fan, did you see the wrong price list? Yang Ruining felt superior in this kind of place, or did you buy the wrong ticket in the group purchase? Yang Ruining was planning to mock Li Fan a few more times, but his eyes suddenly fell on Liao Wushuang. This Yang Ruining's eyes were a little straight. Are you kidding me? I am Yang Ruining, the dignified young master of the Yang family, the young master of the vanguard army. I, Yang Ruining, have seen countless women. Changing girlfriends every day is more frequent than changing clothes. But why have I never met such a great beauty, and every time it is always this brat Li Fan who beats me to it? He is nothing, doesn't he just know some martial arts, and he is also a pretty boy who needs to be protected by women. Why are there so many great beauties around him, changing them every day? Could it be that this brat is really a pretty boy? But he is also not handsome. Even if he is a pretty boy, he still needs to look at his appearance. Strange, really strange. Yang Ruining looked at Liao Wushuang's impeccable figure, and couldn't help but want to drool. No, He was an experienced and well-educated young master. He couldn't do anything that was out of line and rude. This devilish woman in front of me, she should belong to me. If I gallop on her body, it will be wonderful. Thinking of this, Yang Ruining's heart couldn't help but itch again. That Muronging is the leader of the martial arts world, I can't do it. But with an ordinary beautiful woman, there should be no problem. Thinking of this, Yang Ruining tidied up his hair, then put one hand on the table, and looked at Liao Wushuang deeply. This beautiful lady, my name is Yang Ruining. Can I invite you for dinner? Li Fan almost burst out laughing. Fuck, spring is still far away. Why can't the young master of the Yang family run out to heat already? If Lu Xinan found out about this, she would definitely laugh to death. However, she was mostly angry that she had to be betrothed to such a scumbag as her fiancé. Li Fan even began to feel sorry for the vicious woman, Lu Xinan. It could be seen how much he hated Yang Ruining. Yang Ruining seemed to be very confident in his electrifying eyes, especially since he was dressed in branded clothes. With one look, one could tell that he was a rich young master. He would definitely be able to arouse this woman's interest. Maybe she was already wet. Li Fan, do you know this person? Unexpectedly, Liao Wushuang ignored Yang Ruining at all, but looked at Li Fan strangely and asked. I don't know him. He might be a scammer. Li Fan couldn't be bothered with Yang Ruining. He waved his hand. Waiter, there's a swindler here. Please send him away. Ah. When the waiter saw Yang Ruining, he was stunned for a moment. Young Master Yang. Li Fan, you're really ignorant. Yang Ruining grinned, this hot pot restaurant is opened by my family. I have the final say here. Li Fan felt more and more lost his appetite. But Liao Wushuang suddenly smiled like a flower and said to Yang Ruining. In that case, young Master Yang, why don't you sit down and eat together? She winked at Yang Ruining, today is a special day for me. After all, it only happens once a year. I know, it's a beauty's birthday. Yang Ruining sat down, then this meal is on me. Okay, then we can eat to our heart's content. Young Master Yang won't feel bad, right? What a joke. Yang Ruining laughed, as long as you have the appetite, you can eat until I close my restaurant. Then I won't be polite with young Master Yang. Just give me 10 servings of all the best quality meat and seafood. Liao Wushuang's words made Yang Ruining blink his eyes. 10 servings. Can you eat it all? Why, young Master Yang, do you feel bad? Liao Wushuang smiled very sincerely. Yang Ruining immediately waved his hand, how could I? Eat as much as you want. Come, 10 servings of each. Go. Liao Wushuang secretly winked at Li Fan, the meaning was obvious, eat to your heart's content. Li Fan understood, if he didn't eat 100,000 or 200,000 from Yang Ruining today, his surname would not be Li. Don't look at how he ate Liao Wushuang's food, but if he ate Yang Ruining's food, he can guarantee that there won't be any residue left. The kitchen moved quickly, and the ingredients were immediately served. Li Fan ate one by one. In addition to giving Liao Wushuang some meat, he didn't give anyone any space at all. Soon, there was a pile of high plates next to him. No one knew how much he had eaten, and he was still eating like a bottomless pit. Shenmengjie picked up the chopsticks and was about to pick some meat, but Li Fan blocked her with chopsticks. Shenmengjie frowned and glanced at Li Fan. Fairy Shen, you are a virtuous and respected heroine in the pugilistic world. You have to take good care of your body, how can you eat this kind of high-calorie food? Li Fan chuckled. A junior from the pugilistic world like me will do it for Fairy Shen. Saying that, he was about to take away the piece of meat under Shenmengjie's chopsticks. How could Shenmengjie admit defeat? She immediately used her true qi, and with a flip of her chopsticks, she picked up the meat and dodged Li Fan's chopsticks. Li Fan chased after her with his chopsticks, and the two of them used chopsticks with one hand as they briefly crossed swords over the hot pot. Li Fan was not flustered, he suddenly stretched out his other hand and slapped the table. The wine glass in front of Shen Mengjie's table suddenly jumped, and the wine inside spilled out. Shen Mengjie sat on the chair and slid 2 meters away, dodging the wine. But her chopsticks had no choice but to leave the battlefield, and she watched as the piece of meat was stuffed into Li Fan's mouth. "Fairy Shen, you're already so old, it's better not to fight with us juniors." To Shen Mengjie, these words had a strong sense of ridicule. She frowned deeply, and Yang Ruining, who was at the side, also could not help but intervene. "Brotherly, it's not the first time we've met. It seems like fate has brought us together. Let me give you a toast." Saying that, he picked up the wine glass and threw it towards Li Fan. While Shen Mengjie stretched out her hand from behind and caught the wine glass in the air, making the wine glass and the wine inside fly towards Li Fan's face. But Li Fan also stretched out his right hand and blocked the wine glass in the air. The two people's true qi acted on the wine glass at the same time, causing the wine glass to freeze in the air. Chapter 284. I don't want to drink young Master Yang's wine. Li Fan laughs, "After all, I feel like vomiting when I see young Master Yang. Drinking wine is a bit too much for me." Yang Ruining almost vomited blood, but facing an expert like Li Fan, he is temporarily helpless. He can only rely on Shen Mengjie. Shen Mengjie is also not having a good time. She originally thought that without Murong, Li Fan, this immature kid, is not worth mentioning. She did not expect his cultivation to be so strong that he is able to block her attack. How is this possible? Could it be that this kid had some fortuitous encounter? I, Shen Mengjie, cannot beat Murong, but can't I beat her trash fiancé? Impossible, I am Shen Mengjie, the successor of Cold Ice Palm. How can the dignified Ice Poison Fairy be unable to beat a nameless nobody? What a joke! Shen Mengjie's eyes flash with 2 rays of light. Ignoring the stunned Liao Wushuang, her true qi has been infused with cold ice power. This cup of wine is directly frozen into an ice cube and emits dense cold air. The cold air also follows the two's true qi and seeps into Li Fan's body. But Li Fan's true qi drives his blood to flow quickly in his body as if it is boiling. The powerful true qi brings a huge amount of energy. The energy is converted into heat and white smoke starts to emit from the top of Li Fan's head. Shen Mengjie's hand starts to tremble slightly. That cup of ice wine has already started to melt, and in a moment, it also starts to boil and the wine is bubbling. Shen Mengjie's eyes are filled with shock and disbelief. A mere beginner, how can he have such powerful inner qi? 7 Heroes' energy has a total of 9 stages. Li Fan has already trained to the 6th stage and his strength is already a hero among men. Once the true qi in his body starts to boil, the temperature is terrifyingly high. Although Shen Mengjie has trained in Cold Ice Palm, she is still unable to block Li Fan's fierce true qi heat. Shen Mengjie's exposed face was roasted red. She seemed to be unable to hold on, but she didn't want to admit defeat just like that. Shen Mengjie struggled to resist Li Fan's true qi with one hand, while the other hand stretched out and slapped the table. The wine glass bounced up, and the wine inside flew into the air. Shen Mengjie stretched out her hand and grabbed it. Then, she suddenly flung it at Li Fan. The wine turned into white icicles in her hands and stabbed towards Li Fan. However, Li Fan also slammed the table and lifted the tablecloth. Infused with true qi, the tablecloth instantly became harder than steel. When the icicles hit the surface, they made clanging sounds and were all blocked. "Fairy Shen, it would be great if you had 3 hands." Li Fan was still teasing her. "Then you might be able to deal with me." "Brat, don't be arrogant." Shen Mengjie suddenly opened her mouth and spat out an ice arrow. This so-called ice arrow was actually formed from her saliva. In addition to its powerful lethality, it also carried a bit of a disgusting chemical attack. Li Fan was also taken aback. Obviously, he didn't expect that Shen Mengjie could actually play such a dirty attack. This was Shen Mengjie's killing move. When she used this move, it meant that the opponent would definitely die. A killer move, was a move that couldn't be used twice. Generally, those who had seen this move of hers had all been killed by her. This move was indeed fast. In a blink of an eye, it arrived in front of Li Fan. As if in the next second, this ice arrow would tear apart Li Fan's forehead. But who was Li Fan? He had a unique eyesight and was especially immune to fast-killing moves. That Shin Mengjie's move was fast and vicious enough. But in Li Fan's eyes, this icicle was greatly slowed down. Li Fan could even clearly see the edges and corners of the icicle. It was very detailed. After entering the Greater Heights realm, his eyesight had also strengthened. Li Fan knew it in his heart. At the same time, he blew a breath of air towards the ice arrow that was flying over. This was not an ordinary breath of air, but a breath of true qi that was released from the boiling power in his body. This true qi struck the ice arrow and directly blew it away. It brushed past Shin Mengjie's mask and stabbed into the wall behind her. A piece of Shin Mengjie's mask was torn. She covered her face in fear, not caring about the wine glass in the air. Bam! The wine glass was pushed away like a cannonball. It brushed past Yang Ruining's ear and hit the wall behind him. The wine glass directly sank into the wall, deeply embedded. Without tools, it couldn't be taken out. The people in the hot pot restaurant were also frightened. But since their young master didn't say anything, they naturally couldn't say anything. Young Master Yang, I'm very sorry. I won't drink this cup of wine of yours. After Li Fan dealt with Shin Mengjie, he said to Yang Ruining, but our young Master Yang is magnanimous and definitely won't fuss over it, right? Right. What else could Yang Ruining say at this moment? Li Fan, this brat, had been too arrogant recently. But he still had the strength to be arrogant. With his current martial arts, could it be that no one could stop him? Shin Mengjie was a powerful expert. If even she couldn't handle it, what could he do? Fairy Shin. I spent money to invite you here. He said through gritted teeth. How much money did he spend to invite Shin Mengjie? 10,000 a day. Even if he had money, he wouldn't spend it like this. Why did he use such a high price to raise Shin Mengjie? Wasn't it so that she could be of use at a critical moment? In the end, he couldn't even deal with a high school student. This was too disappointing. Young hero Li. Shin Mengjie couldn't keep her face. No matter what, she was the famous ice poison fairy. Today, she lost to a junior in the pugilistic world for no reason. If word got out, wouldn't people laugh their teeth off? Simply, Shin Mengjie didn't care about bullying the weak. She directly cupped her hands towards Li Fan. Pugilistic worlds matters, pugilistic worlds matters. Our pugilistic world's grievances, might as well settle it with our fists. With that, she stomped her feet. True qi immediately spread out. The surrounding tables and chairs were all moved away by the impact of her innate qi, leaving a large empty space in the middle. Since there were no other customers in the shop besides them, it wouldn't be too shocking. Li Fan. Don't fight. Liao Wushuang seemed to be an anti-war believer. Although she didn't understand the situation, she could tell that Li Fan wanted to fight. This time, I can't be obedient, Teacher Liao. Li Fan took 2 steps forward and stood in front of Shin Mengjie. Since Fairy Shin invited me, as a pugilistic world's daughter, if I don't accept the challenge, wouldn't I be a coward? Good, you have the spirit of the pugilistic world. Shin Mengjie put one hand behind her back. I am a pugilistic world senior. I'll let you use one hand. No need. Li Fan didn't agree. I want to win until you are convinced. Chapter 285. What an audacious brat. When Shin Mengjie heard this, she couldn't help but sneer. Shin Mengjie, have been in Jianghu for so many years, but this is the first time I've seen a brat like you who doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Whether it's immensity of heaven and earth, won't you know if you try? Li Fan hooked his finger at Shin Mengjie. There's no seniority in Jianghu, only the level of martial arts. Fairy Shen, how about this, I'll give you a handicap of one hand. With that, Li Fan put one of his hands behind his back. He hated this kind of people in Jianghu, who kept saying, I'm your senior, I'm your elder, I'm your senior, I'm 2 years earlier than you and you're already so arrogant. What handicap of one hand, I'll handicap you 3 moves, handicap my ass. What an arrogant guy. If Shinmengjie was just a little angry flame just now, this time she was already burning with rage. Amir Jr. actually dared to talk to her like this. Presumptuous, simply too presumptuous. It seems that if I don't teach him a good lesson, he really won't know what is called the real Jianghu. Brat, this is your own death wish, then don't blame me. As Shinmengjie spoke, her body flew over as light as a feather. Her qigong was very skilled. She didn't use any other moves, directly using her ice palm, slapping towards Li Fan's head. Her entire right palm is as white as jade, like a white bone, the cold air above it makes people feel fear. Even Liao Wushuang and Yang Ruining at the next table can feel that piercing chill. The steaming hot pot seems to have no feeling, the two of them tightened their clothes at the same time. Terrifying. Is this the power that a human can produce? Liao Wushuang's pair of beautiful big eyes are full of surprise. Shinmengjie's ice palm has already slapped in front of Li Fan. But Li Fan didn't dodge, he just stood there and greeted it with Bear King seal. Pa! Both of their palms clapped together, causing the surrounding air to tremble violently. Even Liao Wushuang and Yang Ruining felt a wave of air coming towards them. Just how powerful were these two people? Li Fan faced Shinmengjie with one hand, but the impact sent Shinmengjie flying. She spun in the air and landed on the ground. Her legs turned to jelly, and she staggered back a few steps. Finally, she held onto the wall behind her and stabilized her body. Shinmengjie's eyes were filled with shock. She couldn't understand why Li Fan was able to surpass her in terms of inner force. He had the power of 5 dragons, and the other party also seemed to have the power of 5 dragons. Let's not talk about where he got the strength of 5 dragons. Just based on the same strength, why was he stronger than me? There must be a mistake somewhere. Could it be that the inner force he cultivated was of a higher level than my Ice Heart Sutra? How could this be? How could his Ice Heart Sutra be weaker than a random junior's inner force? This Frost Heart Sutra was an evil and powerful martial art. This martial art was not easy to practice. All evil martial arts, while powerful, were accompanied by some negative effects. Ice Heart Sutra was like this. If a male cultivates the Ice Heart Sutra, his lower body would not be able to use it. And if a female cultivates the Ice Heart Sutra, she would also lose the ability to have children. So, in order to cultivate this martial art, she had sacrificed too much. Children. And beauty. How could she lose to someone else with the powerful inner force that she had sacrificed so much? I don't accept this. Shinmengjie roared, and the surrounding ground started to emit white frost. This Shinmengjie's strength could be seen. But where Li Fan stood, there wasn't a single bit of white frost. It was as if the cold air was afraid of his strength, and was dispersed to the side. Li Fan had one hand behind his back, and just quietly looked at Shinmengjie. The corner of his mouth was still hanging that trace of a smile. Fairy Shen, it's not nice to get angry so easily. Li Fan, don't think that you're great. I haven't used my true strength yet. Saying that, Shinmengjie's body started to emit a trace of white frost, but from now on, I will kill you. Let's have a fair match. Li Fan still had his left hand behind his back, and used his right hand to hook his finger at Shinmengjie. I will still use one hand to deal with you. Arrogant. Shinmengjie used her qigong and instantly appeared in front of Li Fan. At the same time, both her palms continuously slapped towards Li Fan's forehead. Double palm attack. This Shinmengjie's palm technique was indeed not bad. No wonder she was a famous Jianghu veteran. But Li Fan still had his left hand behind his back, and only used his right hand in front of him, slapping away the close-range attacks. Crane hand. This move was Li Fan's unique defensive skill. He even closed his eyes, and completely relied on his body's perception to move. A 1-meter radius around his body seemed to form a vacuum. Any attack that entered this vacuum would be slapped away by his right hand. Shen Mengjie's attacks became faster and faster, but Li Fan still defended easily, without any effort. It was as if Shen Mengjie was not attacking him, but playing house with him. Shen Mengjie became more and more anxious. She was really a little impatient. She was a famous expert for many years, but she actually could not deal with a junior? Impossible. This was absolutely impossible. Remember, I am Shen Mengjie, I am Ice Poison Fairy. One move to decide victory or defeat. Shen Mengjie suddenly took a horse stance, and her right hand retracted to her waist. At the same time, her right hand seemed to emit dense cold air, as if it was a cold cave from deep winter. Deep winter is coming. Heavenly frost descends. Shen Mengjie's right hand faced Li Fan, and suddenly struck out. At this moment, the surrounding ground was covered with ice crystals. This move seemed to contain all of Shen Mengjie's strength. Even if Li Fan were to fight with her, she wanted to let Li Fan suffer from her cold air. And at this moment, Shen Mengjie's palm, in Li Fan's eyes, was slowed down. At this moment, many thoughts floated in his mind. Against Shen Mengjie's palm, he had countless ways to resolve it. But with Li Fan's monstrous momentum, he chose the most direct method. Dragon Shattering Hand. Li Fan's body leaned to the side, and his right hand moved to meet Shen Mengjie's palm. Pooh! Li Fan's finger pierced through Shen Mengjie's palm just like that. The other party screamed in pain, and Li Fan's right hand was also corroded by the cold air, crazily entering into his body. Li Fan's body was slowly covered with white frost. He trembled slightly, pulled out his right hand, and took a step back. Shen Mengjie was even more miserable. One of her hand was crippled, and she knelt on the ground, hurriedly trying to stop the bleeding. Li Fan. I want your life. Watch carefully before you speak. Li Fan had already suppressed the cold air in his body, and coldly said to Shen Mengjie, "You have already lost." Chapter 286. You've already lost. This sentence made Shen Mengjie completely dumbfounded. Unknowingly, Li Fan had appeared in front of Shen Mengjie with a finger on her forehead. It seemed that in the next second, Li Fan's finger would instantly penetrate Shen Mengjie's forehead. From the beginning to the end, Li Fan had kept his promise and only used one hand. And the other hand was behind his back and had never been taken out. Shen Mengjie's mask suddenly cracked open, revealing her true appearance. There was a scar on the left side of her face, which seemed to be caused by qi deviation during cultivation. It was very ugly. Many of the surrounding waiters couldn't help but feel disgusted when they saw her like this. They turned their heads away one after another, and some even retched. Yang Ruining couldn't resist the nausea and felt that his throat was itchy. But in order to maintain his self-cultivation, he insisted on not vomiting. Only Li Fan, looking at Shen Mengjie's face, didn't feel anything at all. His expression was still indifferent. No, no. Shen Mengjie covered her face and screamed again and again, completely losing the calmness and arrogance that an expert should have. Why are you screaming? Li Fan looked at Shen Mengjie and pressed one hand on her shoulder. It was as if a force was injected into Shen Mengjie's body, causing her to pause slightly. Her long hair was scattered at the side, and cold sweat dripped down. Shen Mengjie seemed to have recovered a little consciousness. She raised her head and stared at Li Fan with a hateful gaze. It's all your fault. You're the one who exposed my true face. Today, everyone here must die. All must die. The face is just an appearance. Li Fan looked at Shen Mengjie, who was about to explode with hatred. He didn't know why, but at this moment, he only had a kind of pity. It seemed that when one's martial arts reached the peak, some mentality would also change. Shinmungjie was pitiful and sad. Your ugliness doesn't make me feel uncomfortable. But the ugliness in your heart is the reason why people don't want to look at you directly. What do you know? You're not disfigured. Shinmungjie roared. You chose your own path. Li Fan retorted, in order to practice this demonic art, you ruined your appearance. Who can you blame? Li Fan began to mutter in his heart. Why was it that the little girl, Murong, was fine as long as she liked to practice this demonic attack? Her face was still so beautiful. Could it be that it was because of her purine body? To put it bluntly, the wound on your face was caused by the evil in your heart. Let go of your obsession, and maybe you'll become beautiful from the inside out. Really? Shinmungjie didn't know why, but when she heard Li Fan's words, she felt a little magical. His voice seemed to directly affect the depths of her soul, and also touched her heart. After so many years, although his cultivation was very high, the injury on his face had always been an untouchable pain in his heart. She dared not show her face to anyone, including herself. Even when she was sleeping, she would always wear a mask. Countless times in her dreams, she recalled her beauty when she was young. But in a flash, this beautiful face became incomparably sinister, waking her up from her dreams. To Shinmungjie, her face was the biggest taboo. And at this moment, Li Fan took off her mask. Moreover, he didn't seem to care about his own ugliness. Cultivate in peace, dissolve the evil in your heart. Li Fan felt that Shinmungjie was not that old, around 30 years old, but her appearance was ruined. It was really a pity. I believe that you'll become beautiful again. I'll try. Shinmungjie seemed to have decided something. After hesitating for too long, it was time for her to make a choice. She painstakingly used her youth, used her appearance to exchange for power, but what use was it? Wasn't she defeated by this rising star with one hand? And if she couldn't even see him, what was the point of her cultivation? Thinking of this, Shinmungjie grabbed her long hair and cut it with her hand. Most of her long hair immediately fell to the ground. From today onwards, I, Shinmungjie, will be accompanied by a green lamp. With that, Shinmungjie clasped her hands together and bowed deeply to Li Fan. Thank you for telling me the true meaning of life today. Li Fan, we'll meet again. With that, she walked out of the hot pot restaurant with large strides, leaving Yang Ruining stunned. Fuck your grandpa, what is this situation? A good evil disciple was actually made to become a nun by this fellow Li Fan. This is an expert that I spent a lot of money to nurture. After just a few times, this guy voluntarily resigned? Li Fan. Yang Ruining really wanted to vomit blood. No matter what, I am a young master that was born with a golden spoon in my mouth. How did I end up in this state? A high school student can even sit on my neck and take a shit. Li Fan. Don't you just know a bit of martial arts? Yang Ruining suddenly took out a black card that symbolizes his identity and slapped it on the table. Li Fan took a look. This is the Centurion Black Gold card. It is definitely the identity of an upper-class person. From today onwards, I'll hire you. Yang Ruining said with a big tone, how much? Name a price. Liao Wushuang at the side frowned deeply. She seems to dislike Yang Ruining's tone. How can a person's value be measured with money? Is he trying to bribe Li Fan? What's wrong? Is our young master Yang so insecure? Li Fan looked at Yang Ruining with a mocking gaze. Li Fan, don't act high and mighty in front of me. Yang Ruining crossed his legs and returned to his elegant appearance. He is also looking at Li Fan. I lost my composure just now. But you and I are not in the same weight class. He shook his wine glass, you only have a bit of martial arts. But martial arts is still inferior. You still have to serve people with power like us. No matter how high and mighty you are, you will have a price as a human. As long as the price is right, even the chief of Wulin will have to kneel down and serve me. I'm sorry about that. My chief of Wulin is quite rich. Li Fan grinned. Yang Ruining thought too highly of himself, didn't he? In China, how many people can compete with my family in terms of wealth? Yang Ruining doesn't believe Li Fan's words at all. My Yang family is not only rich but also powerful. Li Fan, don't forget. So what if you are strong in martial arts? China is a country that is based on officials. As long as the people above say the word, you will become a street rat. At that time, even survival will be a problem. Let's see how you practice martial arts. He adheres to the principle of using the stick and the carrot and continues, but if you obey me, you will be able to live a good life and reach the peak of your life. How about it? Name a price. Chapter 287. Yang Ruining threatened and tempted Li Fan, looking as if he had Li Fan in the bag. He didn't believe that after he said such words, who could still hold it in. He looked at Li Fan triumphantly, waiting for Li Fan to say a price and then kneel in front of him. These guys, they think that they are invincible just by practicing some martial arts. Ridiculous. This world belongs to the minority after all. Most of the wealth in the world is in the hands of the minority. Humans follow their fate. He was born with a golden spoon in his mouth. It was God who had chosen him. Once he was born, he was already above everyone else. These losers below, they can only struggle bitterly and continue to be stepped on by his feet. The only thing they can do is to kneel and lick his toes, striving to beg for charity from him. Including this Li Fan, he is the same. But Li Fan stood in front of him, not saying a word. Yang Ruining stretched out 2 fingers and said lightly, 200,000 a month. Li Fan smiled without saying a word. All right, looks like you are not stupid. Yang Ruining continued, I will give that ugly woman 300,000 a month. How about this, since you defeated her, it means you are stronger than her. I will give you 500,000 a month, how about it? Li Fan still did not say a word. One cannot be too greedy. Yang Ruining narrowed his eyes, I can tell you my bottom line. 1 million a month, I will buy you out for 20 years. After 20 years, when you retire, I will pay you another 100 million as a buyout. Yang Ruining is really generous this time, even the top international bodyguards do not have such a price. Li Fan, I am already kind enough. A billionaire, if not for me, you will not be able to earn this money in several lifetimes. But with me, you have the qualifications to climb up and can enjoy the happiness that only a few people can enjoy. Are you very grateful to me? Young Master Yang, you may be mistaken. Li Fan laughed, I sell my skills but not my body, I sell my physical strength but not my moral integrity. You should save this 100 million to buy yourself a coffin. Li Fan. Don't be so shameless. Even this price couldn't move Li Fan. Just how greedy was this guy? People should know their limits. Yang Ruining roared, you're not worth 100 million. It's young master who pitied you, that's why he gave you such a high price, understand? If it wasn't for this young master's reward, you could only live like a dog. That's enough. Before Li Fan could speak, Liao Wushuang couldn't sit still anymore. I've already tolerated you for half a day. No matter which family's young master you come from, you're terrible. Liao Wushuang wasn't good at scolding people, so even when she was angry, she was polite. People like you will never understand the value of a person. Live with your money, Li Fan, let's go. Liao Wushuang stood up, took Li Fan's arm, and was about to go out with him. Wait a minute. Seeing Liao Wushuang's perfect figure, Yang Ruining was unwilling to let her leave like this. Let me ask you, what exactly attracted you to him? He has a lot of shining points on him. Liao Wushuang said without hesitation, when I look at him, I feel a sense of peace. When I look at you, I only feel nausea. Li Fan, let's go. Looking at their backs, Yang Ruining shouted from behind, you'll regret this. After going out, Li Fan felt that the air smelled a lot better. With Yang ruining around, it's really uncomfortable. Teacher Liao, now you should believe in internal force, right? Li Fan suddenly thought of this question, so he asked Liao Wushuang, haven't you seen it with your own eyes? I guess so. Liao Wushuang was still very confused. All of this was not in line with her materialism. This made Liao Wushuang feel that her worldview was slightly collapsing. True Qi. Internal force, does it really exist? Liao Wushuang's eyes were still filled with doubt. The world is big, nothing is too strange. Teacher Liao, you don't have to be too confused, just bravely accept the reality. Instead, it was Li Fan who teased Liao Wushuang. But Liao Wushuang pulled Li Fan, blinked her beautiful big eyes at him, and tentatively asked, then. Can you teach me? Although I'm a bit old. Who are you calling old? That's not what I meant. Li Fan broke out in a cold sweat, saying that a girl as old is indeed a bit suicidal. Let me test your physical condition first. Li Fan said, stretched out his right hand and held Liao Wushuang's soft little hand. Although it felt good, Li Fan did not do it to take advantage of her. While holding her hand, he tried to send his true qi into Liao Wushuang's body through his palm. But when his true qi touched Liao Wushuang's palm, it made a pa sound, as if it hit a wall, and Li Fan's palm was directly bounced off. Huh? Li Fan was a bit surprised, what's going on? My true qi actually bounced off. Li Fan tried again, but he still could not infuse his true qi. What's wrong? Liao Wushuang did not quite understand and curiously looked at Li Fan. Your body seems to be the legendary insulator. Li Fan gently frowned and said. Insulator? I also heard it from others, this insulator is the constitution that can't cultivate true qi. Li Fan explained, in other words, true qi can't exist in your body. This is in line with Liao Wushuang's materialistic character, a perfect match. Oh. Liao Wushuang's eyes were slightly disappointed, it seems that I have no fate with divine techniques. It doesn't matter, even if you can't cultivate true qi, you can learn some external techniques to strengthen your body. Li Fan comforted. That must be very hard. Liao Wushuang shook her head again and again, besides, if I let you teach me martial arts, wouldn't you become my teacher? The one who succeeds is the teacher. Li Fan hurriedly said, could it be that teacher Liao is also so traditional? That's not it. Let me think about it. Liao Wushuang seemed to be thinking about something, but Li Fan took the initiative to pull her hand, well, let's not think about this first. Today is my birthday, so be happy. I'll treat you to a movie, let's go. When Li Fan turned his head, he saw a familiar figure standing on the roof of the opposite building. That man was wearing a black coat, with a sneer hanging on the corner of his mouth, staring at him from the roof. Although the two of them were a few hundred meters apart, both of them have eagle-like vision. Li Fan could even see that the man put his hand on his throat and made a throat-slitting gesture. Genie Guards, Commander-in-Chief. Chapter 288. At that moment, Li Fan had a bad feeling. All the hairs on his body stood on end. The appearance of this Commander King was definitely not to bring him good news. Li Fan, be careful. At this moment, Liao Wushuang's exclamation came from behind. Li Fan quickly turned around and saw a man wearing a hoodie walking out from the shadow beside him. The man was holding a black dagger in his hand and was about to stab him. Although it was a sneak attack, it was not difficult for Li Fan to deal with it. However, he did not expect that Liao Wushuang would suddenly block in front of him and use her body to block the knife. Puff! Li Fan did not expect this scene at all. More than 100 ways to deal with the dagger flashed in his mind, but this scene did not appear in his mind. The dagger was stabbed into Liao Wushuang's lower abdomen. The hoodie frowned and immediately retreated. Damn it, where are you going? Li Fan tried to grab the hoodie man, but the hoodie man's qinggong was good. It seemed to be specially used for sneak attacks. With a stomp of his foot, the hoodie man disappeared in a few steps. Li Fan wanted to chase after him, but Liao Wushuang was already lying on the ground. He quickly stopped and hugged Liao Wushuang. The dagger was stabbed into her lower abdomen, and blood flowed all over Li Fan's hand. You are fine. Liao Wushuang glanced at Li Fan, and then her beautiful eyes closed and she fainted. Teacher Liao. Liao Wushuang. Li Fan's heart beat faster. He was scared out of his wits. This stupid woman, how could she be so stupid? Li Fan looked back at the top of the building, but the commander of the genie guards was nowhere to be seen. Bastard. That damned bastard, he actually played dirty. Li Fan's impression of the genie guards was simply bad to the bone. Li Fan did not dare to hesitate. He stretched out his hand and poked Liao Wushuang's acupoints twice. But because Liao Wushuang was an insulator of true qi, his true qi could not be used on her acupuncture points, so he could not stop her bleeding. Li Fan could only let the dagger remain in Liao Wushuang's abdomen as he hugged her and ran on the road. At this time, Li Fan didn't care if it was shocking or not. He used his qinggong and jumped onto a telephone pole. He stepped on a telephone pole, and then with a leap, he crossed a distance of 8 to 9 meters and landed on another telephone pole. Wow, a flying man. Am I dreaming? Fuck, I didn't have time to take a picture and post it on Weibo. The onlookers exclaimed in surprise. They were all annoyed that their phones were too slow to take pictures. Just as they raised their phones, the figure on the telephone pole had already flashed past like a gust of wind. What kind of person was that? How could he jump so high and so far? Could it be Superman? In his arms, there seemed to be another person. Li Fan didn't care how much of an impact he had caused. He rushed to the nearest hospital as fast as lightning, basically bringing sparks and lightning with him. Doctor. Li Fan pushed open the door and entered. He stood in the hall of the hospital and roared. Save her, quickly save her. Li Fan's voice was filled with true qi, reverberating throughout the hospital. Several doctors rushed over and put Liao Wushuang on a cart. One of the doctors even told Li Fan, go and register the patient. After registering, we will deal with the patient. Got it. What department? Trauma department. Li Fan was sent to register, but there was a long queue in the hospital. This hospital seemed to be quite famous. The queue was so long that he could not see the end. Just as Li Fan was about to register, a man in front of him who was also registering sighed, Brother, I guess we won't be able to get in. What's wrong? How come we can't register? Li Fan frowned. If they can't register, how can they see the patient? Liao Wushuang is still waiting for treatment. If they don't pay, what should they do? Liao Wushuang is just an ordinary person. She can't stand it. The people in front are all scalpers. One person can register several times. It's simply not our turn. By the time they finish, there won't be many left. If you want to see the patient, you have to buy the scalper from them at a high price. How dare you? Li Fan was anxious. How could he wait for these scalpers? He immediately walked forward. 2 scalpers were still arguing with a person in front of them. You go to the back. I guarantee you can get a number. The 2 scalpers pulled the middle-aged woman in front of them and shouted. No, I came to queue yesterday, but I didn't get a number. The woman shook her head, my man is still waiting to see the doctor. I can't delay any longer. If you don't let us, we will drag you out. One of the scalpers said fiercely, do you see? Everyone around us is our people. If you don't get out of the way, I will make sure you can't get a number for a month. The woman was obviously afraid. She subconsciously wanted to take a step back, but she was held by a pair of strong hands. Auntie, don't be afraid. Evil will never prevail over good. The 2 scalpers looked unhappy. They looked at the teenager who suddenly appeared in front of them. Where did this little bastard come from? I'm telling you, mind your own business. Otherwise, you won't be able to bear the consequences. This is outrageous. Do you know that you're delaying our registration? Li Fan said loudly, the hospital is a place to treat patients and save lives. Many people are waiting to be saved. But you're here to make money from saving lives. Aren't you afraid of losing your family line? Fuck, where did this little bastard come from? I'm telling you, if you don't buy a number from us, no one can see the doctor. This is the rule here. The scalper on the left was tall, wearing a camouflage vest and a black jacket. He reached out and grabbed Li Fan's shoulder. If you talk nonsense again, I'll kill you. Humph. Li Fan stretched out his hand and twisted the scalper's finger. Ow! The scalper let out a strange cry. With such a big body, he directly knelt on the ground and screamed in pain. His forehead was constantly dripping with cold sweat. This kind of windfall, I'll cut off one of your fingers as a lesson. Li Fan said. With a twist of his hand, the scalper's finger was directly broken by Li Fan. The finger was strangely twisted to a strange angle. Let him go. The skinny scalper next to him was shocked. He directly took out a utility knife from his pocket and tried to cut Li Fan's face. This utility knife was very fragile. A direct stab would basically break it. But if it was used to cut people, it was enough. Li Fan was unmoved. He let the utility knife fall on his face. Dang! He activated his true chi protection and immediately broke the utility knife. But the skinny scalper did not give up. He lifted his foot and kicked Li Fan's crotch. Although Li Fan had practiced true chi, he could not practice it to the level of the second son in the family. But he lifted his foot and kicked the calf of the skinny scalper faster. Chapter 289. With a cracking sound, that skinny scalper's calf was broken. The surrounding scalpers were furious. Li Fan looked up and saw that there were at least 30 to 40 people looking at Li Fan. Some even pulled out a wrench from their pocket, some pulled out a wrench. Each of them glared at Li Fan like a tiger watching its prey. That imposing manner was really shocking, scaring the people in the queue to run away. Good fellow, there are really a lot of scalpers here. Li Fan sneered, no wonder the others couldn't get an appointment. Turns out they were all killed by you bastards. Brat, you actually dare to cause trouble in my territory. From the crowd, a man wearing a gray Benelux suit and a pair of black sunglasses walked out. This man was about 30 years old, with a deep face and a Yushi cigarette in his mouth. I, Xiao Shenkin, have been here for more than 10 years. This is the first time I've seen someone as blind as you. What, are you tired of living? Go straight to the morgue. Don't come here to court death. The doctors in the hospital stood far away, no one dared to interfere. The scalpers in this hospital were indeed a disaster. Moreover, their protection was very powerful, no one dared to offend them. Some doctors could not help but worry for this young man. A nurse secretly took out her phone, but was seen by the scalper next to her, who pointed at her with a wrench. Motherfucker, if you dare to call the police, I will kill you. That nurse was so scared that her phone fell to the ground. Everyone, aren't you a bit too arrogant? Li Fan gently clenched his fist. This is a hospital. Where do you think it is? Of course this is a hospital. Otherwise, how can we earn money? The man in the suit chuckled. You are not earning money. Li Fan's eyes were filled with anger. You are drinking the blood of the patients here. Ha ha ha, so what? The suited man disdainfully said, this is society, the weak are prey to the strong. Do you understand? Moreover, it's not like we don't allow them to see a doctor. If they want to see a doctor, they can just buy a scalper from us. Since they are here to see a doctor, why would they be short of money? If they don't want to spend money, why would they want to see a doctor? They might as well just die. Bullshit. Li Fan was so angry that smoke almost came out of his mouth. What a devil's logic. It's not logic, it's rules. The man in the suit held a cigarette and pointed at Li Fan. To survive in this place, you need to understand the rules here. Whoever could grasp the rules would be able to survive. And whoever makes the rules is the boss. Then I'm really sorry. Li Fan clenched his fists tightly, making cracking sounds. My favorite thing since I was born is to break other people's rules. Really? The man in the suit took a few registration numbers from someone else. I have a few numbers for surgery and trauma. Do you want to register someone with a broken arm or a broken leg? Now that we've met, I'll give you a 20% discount. I'll sell it to you for 800 yuan per account. I think you should keep it for yourself. The moment Li Fan finished his words, he had already appeared in front of the man in the suit. At the same time, he grabbed the top of the man's head with one hand. Using only one arm, he lifted the man in the air. The surrounding people were amazed by Li Fan's strength. Where did this kid's seemingly thin and weak arm come from? I'll give you one last chance. Bring these shady people and get out of the hospital. Otherwise, I'll make you use all the scalp numbers. You kid dare to touch me. The man in the suit struggled for a while and realized that he couldn't break free from Li Fan's grasp. He was like an iron tower, standing there, unmoving. So what if I touch you? Li Fan sneered. I want to see if your rules are harder or my fist is harder. With that, Li Fan raised his right hand and clenched his fist. I'm from the yellow uniform group. The man let out a strange cry. Li Fan raised his eyebrows. Yellow uniform group. Wasn't that the organization from Lu Xinnan's family? It was said that this organization had eyes and ears everywhere. They had a huge influence in City A. Provoking such an organization was indeed disadvantageous to Li Fan. Even if Lu Xinnan came forward to mediate, it would not be so easy to stop those people. After all, Lu Xinnan was not her father. She did not have that much authority. However, that was not what Li Fan was thinking about. He only had one thought about these scalpers. Ha ha ha, are you afraid after hearing our name? If you're afraid, then kneel down obediently and let me beat you up to vent my anger. A guy like you, even if you're strong, how dare you go against the yellow uniform group? Before he could finish, Li Fan's fist had already landed on his cheek. Bang! The man's body spun and flew out. He was thrown more than 10 meters away and sprawled on the ground. All his teeth had fallen out. So what if I hit you? Li Fan said coldly. Go back and tell your master to do some good for his descendants and get out of the hospital. Beat him up. There's so many of us, don't be afraid. The group of scalpers picked up their weapons and planned to use their numbers to take down Li Fan. However, Li Fan raised his right foot high and gathered it above his head. Then, he slammed it down on the ground. Crack! Layers of cracks appeared on the ground, and the marble under his feet was directly crushed by Li Fan. The scalpers who rushed over were so scared that they knelt on the ground and dropped their weapons. They came quickly, and they ran quickly as well. In the blink of an eye, they were all gone. Hey, you guys, don't run, the man in the suit's words were leaking. He looked at his subordinates who were running around in panic and the fear in his heart increased. Who was this young man? He was not even afraid of the yellow uniform group. Damn it, damn it. Why did such a person exist? He must be an idiot. Didn't he know how scary the yellow uniform group was? Brother, quick, let's go, one of the scalpers was more loyal. He squatted down and carried the man in the suit on his shoulder. Bastard. One day, the yellow uniform group will take revenge on you. Alright, I'll wait. There's no harm in being in debt. Li Fan laughed. I would like to see how capable the so-called yellow uniform group is. You'll regret it. Only the man in the suit's roar was left in his ears. Li Fan picked up a number for the trauma department and shouted to the people around him. Everyone, continue to queue. There are no more scalpers now. Brother, thank you. Thank you so much. The patients in the queue were very excited. Now, they could finally see the doctor without worry. Doctor, this is Liao Wushuang's number. When Li Fan took the number and went to find the doctor, he found that Liao Wushuang's wound had been stitched up. She was lying quietly on the bed and seemed to be sleeping soundly. Chapter 290. Because it's an emergency, even if you register later, we will see the doctor first. The hospital is not as dark as you think. The doctor adjusted his glasses and explained to Li Fan. This action reminded Li Fan of Little Four. But, today's matter. Forgive me for being nosy, but you shouldn't interfere. Why shouldn't I interfere? Li Fan was a little surprised. It's already like this, shouldn't I do something about it? You look like you're still in school. In Li Fan's eyes, there was still a bit of childishness that hadn't faded. Yeah, what's wrong? Are you afraid that I'll be bullied because I'm young? I can see that you should have practiced martial arts. The doctor wore a big mask and couldn't see what he looked like, but his eyes were quite deep. He looked at Li Fan with an unfathomable gaze. Yes. Li Fan didn't hide it and nodded to admit it. That's right. The doctor nodded. Those people really don't dare to bully you, but let me ask you, can you stay here every day? Impossible, I still have to go to school. How could Li Fan stay in the hospital every day? He was not a doctor. Yeah, you can't stay here every day. After all, you have to go to school, and later go to college and other cities. Said the doctor. You can manage for one day, but not forever. Those scalpers will hide from you today, and tomorrow when you're gone, they'll come again. They make a living out of it, and this is their career. If you manage it today, they'll hide for a few days and earn less money for a few days. When they come again, the price of this scalper might rise again. At that time, what can you do to help? Shouldn't I be able to manage this kind of thing? Li Fan said with some dissatisfaction, if everyone doesn't manage it, will this kind of thing ever end? This is a problem of society itself. Of course we should manage it, but you shouldn't. The doctor dropped this sentence and looked at his watch. It's time for me to get off work. I won't tell you more. You're a very interesting person. I look forward to our next meeting. Huh? Aren't you going to treat him? Li Fan was a little surprised. The doctor said as he walked. Someone will help me deal with it. I still have a lawsuit to fight, so I'll be leaving first. Looking at the doctor's retreating footsteps, Li Fan wondered if his big brother was sick. He was a doctor. Why would he fight a lawsuit? Was he supposed to be a part-time lawyer? Li Fan shook his head and put the matter of the doctor aside. At this time, the door of the treatment room was pushed open again, and another doctor and nurse came out. One of them took off his mask and said to Li Fan. Is he the patient's family? Yes, how is she? Li Fan was very worried about Liao Wushuang. He hoped that nothing bad would happen to her. Otherwise, he would regret it for the rest of his life. The wound has been treated. He's out of danger, but he has a mild fever. The doctor said, you have to be hospitalized for observation for 2 days. Remember to go through the hospitalization procedures. Oh, okay, I'll go in a bit. Li Fan felt relieved. As long as Liao Wushuang was fine, everything was fine. Li Fan didn't have time to go through the hospitalization procedures. He walked into the ward first. Liao Wushuang's face was pale, without any color. She was lying on the bed like a sick woman. Even if she was sick, she was still so beautiful. Women, when they were beautiful, they could really be deadly. Li Fan tiptoed to Liao Wushuang's side. His qinggong was excellent, so he didn't make any sound. He was worried that he would wake Liao Wushuang up. Unexpectedly, when he walked to Liao Wushuang's bedside, she suddenly opened her eyes and looked at Li Fan. You're awake. Li Fan was a little annoyed that he still woke her up. I'm a little sad. Liao Wushuang gently pouted and said. I'm sorry that you got hurt. No. Liao Wushuang gently shook her head, I'm just worried. I can't wear clothes that expose my navel in the future. Li Fan was quite speechless. At this time, she was still thinking about beautiful things. Are you in pain? Yes. Why don't you say it's painful? It's painful even if I say it. Liao Wushuang's words made Li Fan unable to refute, as if he was being particularly unreasonable. I'm really sorry, today is my birthday, but I made you suffer so much. Li Fan was still very annoyed. Liao Wushuang originally had nothing to do with these things, but she was forcibly involved, and on his birthday. There was no worse birthday than this. Li Fan smiled bitterly. Liao Wushuang raised her hand and gently pinched the corner of Li Fan's mouth. Don't smile bitterly, it's so ugly, I'm not dead. It's better for me to get hurt for you, anyway, I'm used to it. Looking at Liao Wushuang's weak appearance, Li Fan's heart was somewhat distressed. A beautiful woman actually had to suffer like this. It's okay. It just happened to be on my appendix. Liao Wushuang winked at Li Fan, but my appendix was removed. At this time, Liao Wushuang could still joke with him. I'll help you with the hospitalization procedures. Li Fan decided to go out and calm down. Since Liao Wushuang was fine, he was relieved. Don't go. Liao Wushuang suddenly pulled Li Fan's hand. What's wrong? You. Stay with me for a while. But I have to go through the hospitalization procedures. You can wait for a while. What's wrong, are you afraid of being alone? No. Maybe because I was stabbed, my heart is a little empty. Li Fan felt that Liao Wushuang was like a child at this time, so he had no choice but to take her hand and sit on her bedside. I want you to tell me a story. Liao Wushuang's habit came again, causing Li Fan to have a headache. Once upon a time, there was a mountain, and there was a temple on the mountain. The story is so cliché. There was an old monk in the temple who didn't wear a condom. This time, it was Liao Wushuang's turn to be speechless. Can't you tell a serious story? I'm just that frivolous. Li Fan winked, making Liao Wushuang laugh. Ouch, don't make me laugh, the wound is splitting open. Is that so? Then I won't tell you a story, I'll tell you a joke. Liao Wushuang was so angry that she wanted to hit Li Fan, but she didn't have the strength. If you can't tell a story, then sing me a song. Li Fan saw there were other patients in the room and was a bit embarrassed. Teacher Liao. This is not good. I don't care, I want to listen to a song. When Liao Wushuang's childish temper came out, she couldn't stop it. Are you going to sing or not? Chapter 291. Sing, sing. Li Fan hurriedly nodded. How could he not sing? He couldn't care less about the others. Although there were a few patients around, he would just pretend that they didn't exist. Everyone, if I don't sing well, I'll offend you, sing quickly. I want to listen, Liao Wushuang urged. Okay. Then don't be scared away by me. I can't run away like this. Okay, Li Fan cleared his throat and then recalled the few songs in his memory. Under Liao Wushuang's expectant eyes, he opened his mouth and sang Huang Pingguan's No Lock. When singing, Li Fan's voice subconsciously carried a little true qi, making his voice more mellow and full of an indescribable charm. Although there didn't seem to be anything special when listening to it. But after listening for a while, he felt that it was more and more interesting, as if he was deeply attracted by this voice. Li Fan's voice carried a kind of power that could cleanse people's souls. Originally, the ward was noisy, some people were noisy, and some people were crying on the patients' bodies. However, as Li Fan's voice spread out, the surroundings slowly quieted down. They all looked at him, and their eyes began to become a little blurred, as if they had forgotten their own feelings. Happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy, at this moment, were all gone. This feeling seemed really good. A soul singer. After Li Fan finished singing, even Liao Wushuang was a little stunned. Is it because the singing is a bit awful? Li Fan asked with some embarrassment. Good. Super good. Liao Wushuang was a little addicted. Sing another song. Teacher Liao, I'm not a KTV. Sing another song. I'm a poor patient. Liao Wushuang looked at Li Fan pitifully. Her eyes could melt Li Fan. Okay, I'll sing another song. Li Fan had no choice but to agree, and then sang Zhang Xinjia's Too Hot. Li Fan didn't know much about trends, so he sang some old songs. But these songs, together with his unique voice, deeply attracted the people around him. There was a wounded man who had one of his legs amputated. His face was filled with despair. But as Li Fan sang, his expression slowly became relaxed, as if he had forgotten his own pain. After Li Fan finished singing, before Liao Wushuang could say anything, the people around him had already started shouting first. One more song. One more song. Li Fan was stunned. What's the situation? I'm not here to hold a concert in the hospital. But for some reason, Liao Wushuang pouted. You're not allowed to sing anymore. Ah, why? Because you're only allowed to sing to me. Although Liao Wushuang's words were a bit overbearing, Li Fan didn't know why he was happy to hear it. Could it be that all men were born with a despicable nature? Then I'll stop singing. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty? Although it's a taboo now, he couldn't stop Liao Wushuang from eating. Li Fan felt that the two of them seemed to be reversed. A few days ago, Liao Wushuang was still taking care of him in the hospital, but now, he was the one taking care of her. If Murong Ying, that vinegar jar, knew about this, she would definitely explode. Li Fan suddenly felt a chill. At this time, it's better not to think about that woman. He was only here to take care of teacher Liao because he caused her to be injured. That's right, that's it. This is the purest revolutionary comradeship. I'm not hungry, just a little thirsty. But I can't drink water now. Instead, Liao Wushuang reminded Li Fan, it will take a while. Now, we can only endure it, so don't be greedy for me. Okay. Li Fan had to sit by Liao Wushuang's bed. At this time, the patients next to him were begging. My friend, please sing another song. Sing another song. Can I buy a song? Can you sing a song like a star? Li Fan's face was full of black lines. Do these people really think of me as a star? Enough, he's not a singer. Liao Wushuang was crying injustice for Li Fan. Just sing one song. The amputee patient wiped his tears of excitement. I was going to commit suicide, but this little brother's singing awakened my new life ideal. Please sing one more song, please. He was almost begging. Li Fan really had no choice but to say, okay, then sing one more song. Alright then, let's sing one more song. It's really the last one. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. The patients all cheered, which made Li Fan have the illusion that he was a big star. He really didn't think that his singing was good. In the past, when he sang in KTV, there was no response. Why was it so attractive today? Li Fan cleared his throat again and casually sang Chen Guanpu's Too Much. This time, many patients shed tears of excitement, as if Li Fan's voice could knock on their hearts. Li Fan didn't know that because his voice was filled with true qi, it had a unique effect of demonic sound entering the brain. Anyone who listened to his singing would be moved by his unique true qi voice. Outside the door, a young nurse angrily pushed the door. Who told you to sing in the ward? She was originally urging a patient named Li Fan to go through the hospitalization procedures. Unexpectedly, when she arrived at the door of the ward, she heard someone singing. Silence must be maintained in the hospital. This was the most basic rule. She was about to reprimand but was attracted by the singing. My God, those famous singers that I like, can't sing such a beautiful voice. For a time, even the nurse was fascinated by it. After Li Fan finished singing, Everyone was still immersed in the intoxication and didn't want to wake up. Li Fan, don't practice martial arts. Go be a singer. Liao Wushuang sincerely suggested to Li Fan, you will definitely become famous. That won't do. I do want to be famous, but being a singer is not my pursuit. I want to pursue a more exciting life. Li Fan blinked his eyes at Liao Wushuang. That. Sir. The young nurse timidly walked to Li Fan's side. What's wrong? You have to go through the hospitalization procedures. Oh, okay. Li Fan just remembered that this matter hasn't been done yet. Come back quickly. Liao Wushuang urged. I know, I will come back as soon as possible. Although Li Fan wanted to be fast, the hospital procedures were very complicated. When he finished and returned to the ward, Liao Wushuang was already asleep. Li Fan didn't wake her up and just sat next to Liao Wushuang's bed. He reached out and touched Liao Wushuang's forehead. She still had a low fever. The doctor said that she would be fine after her fever completely subsided. During this period, she can't be alone. Chapter 292. Li Fan stayed by Liao Wushuang's bedside for 2 days and 2 nights. In these 2 days and 2 nights, he almost didn't sleep and kept busy. 2 days later, Liao Wushuang was finally discharged from the hospital and returned to her home. There was a full-time nanny to take care of her. Even if Li Fan wanted to accompany her for a few more days, his work didn't allow it. And that strange doctor, Li Fan never met again. At this moment, Li Fan was preparing other things, but Huang Lei was sitting naked in the public bathroom with a blue and yellow towel on his shoulder. Phew. It's so comfortable. Huang Lei let out a long breath and blended into the steaming hot air. Unfortunately, there is no special service here, otherwise it would be better. Huang Lei slowly stood up and splashed water on his body. A lot of men looked at his lower body and couldn't help but envy and hate him. Fuck, what the hell is with this man, that thing down there is too big. Dad. A little boy next to him pulled his father, why is that man's penis so big? And why is ours so small? Shut up. As a father, he couldn't hold his face anymore and beat his son. The child cried non-stop, but Huang Lei was proud of himself. This thing is the only thing that he can be proud of. At this time, a somewhat thin man came over, holding a yellow and blue towel in his hand. He walked to Huang Lei's back and asked tentatively. Big brother, do you want a back rub? How much? $9.99, give Big Brother a discount, just give me 88%. Oh, okay, then give me a rub, just rub my back, don't rub my chest, okay? Look at that. The messy conversation between the two of them was actually a secret signal to realize their relationship. Huang Lei sat on the edge of the bathtub, and the young man stood behind him, diligently rubbing his back. Brother Lei, you've been doing well recently. The two people finally began to talk seriously, but their voices were very low. It's all right. I'm just following my big brother to make a living. Boss Li has also become quite famous recently. The skinny guy rubbed his back as he said enviously, I heard that even Hu Yang's men were chased away. How awesome. Of course. What kind of person is my big brother? Although Hu Yang has some foundation, how can he compare to my big brother? Huang Lei said proudly, my big brother is the person who broke through the black boxing ring. His fists were invincible. The current martial arts world even gave my big brother a nickname, Little Overlord. Did you hear that, little tyrant? How awesome. The skinny guy thought to himself, isn't that the name of the game console? However, these words only circled around in his stomach, and he didn't say it out loud. Sigh, it would be great if I could follow Boss Li, in your dreams. My big brother doesn't accept other underlings. Huang Lei immediately put an end to this fellow's thoughts. What do you think your master will think if you run over here? That's true. Brother Lei, you've thought it through. Of course. Remember, your brother Lei is not just a big dick. Do you understand? I understand, brother Lei. Speaking of which, brother Lei, how did your lower body grow? Isn't it too scary? Why? Do you want to test its power? I'll tell you. It hasn't eaten meat for a long time. Now it doesn't even need meat. I-oh. Brother Lei, don't scare me. I'm timid but my anus is big. You won't feel good playing with me, stop talking nonsense. Let's get down to business. Huang Lei said snappily, this is a very simple scene. Your brother Lei needs to find a place to calm down. If you don't want to have sex, then get down to business. Alright, these words made the skinny guy's anus tighten. He hurriedly got down to business. Tomorrow night, the deputy leader of the yellow-clothed group, Wang Baiqiang, wants to negotiate with the young master of the vanguard group, Yang Ruining. Our master said that he wants to see the two of them fight. Oh, that's the matter. Yes, that's the matter. I've put the address in cabinet number 15. This is the key. Brother Lei, go get it later. If I take your key, are you going to go out naked? Wouldn't that be acting like a hooligan? Brother Lei, don't worry. I've put my clothes in my partner's cabinet. Huang Lei noticed that there were two people taking a bath nearby. Their eyes were sneakily glancing around from time to time. Ha, my goodness. This Fu Fan is really careful. He sent people here to meet with me. He even chose two people to watch over me. Rub to the left. Yes, that's it. Then brother Lei. Can I accept it? Fuck, your brother Lei, when am I not hard? You really don't know how to talk. Yes, I'm wrong. Brother Lei, don't take it to heart. I'm an idiot. Huang Lei rolled his eyes, whether this matter succeeds or not, there's no use talking about other things. Money is number one. 500,000 in cash. The skinny guy immediately said, it's all in the cabinet. Isn't your master a little stingy? Huang Lei frowned, who are you kidding with such little money? We have a big family here to support. We've prepared 3 experts. Which one of them isn't a master? Which one of them doesn't cost money? Among the 3 of us, my big brother is the most frugal. He's still in school and keeps a low profile. As for the other 2 masters, one of them owns a BMW and the other likes to play with motorcycles. Which one of them doesn't cost money? Yes. Brother Lei, don't worry. Our master will definitely not mistreat everyone. The skinny guy explained, this 500,000 is just a deposit. There's still 1 million left. When the matter is settled, I'll immediately transfer it to your account. That's more like it. Interesting. Huang Lei then closed his eyes in satisfaction and focused on enjoying the skinny guy's back-scrubbing service. Brother Lei, then this matter, it's settled. I'll accept it on behalf of my big brother. You can go back and reply to your master. Alright, brother Lei. It might be a little too much for a young man like me to scrub your back. Brother Lei, wait a moment. I'll help you arrange for a good person to come over. Huang Lei rolled his eyes, thinking to himself that he could arrange for a woman to come in. In the end, after a while, a graceful woman in a bikini really walked in. She ignored the surprised looks of the others and squatted behind Huang Lei to scrub him. She also occasionally took care of his doppelganger. Huang Lei was dumbfounded. Only Fu Fan had the ability to stuff a woman into the men's bathtub to serve him. Brother, are you satisfied? The girl leaned close to Huang Lei's ear and asked gently. Satisfied, Huang Lei thought to himself, I didn't come out for nothing this time. From now on, I'll be the middleman with Fu Fan. Guan Wenbao was too serious and not suitable for this occasion. Bai Lin Luo was still a child. He couldn't lead him astray. Yan Kai was gay. He could just play with his own ass. Indeed, the most difficult work had to be done by himself. Aha! Chapter 293. When Huang Lei returned, he informed Li Fan and the rest. Huang Lei, did you forget to take your medicine? Bai Lin Luo frowned, scolding Huang Lei, provoking the relationship between the Yellow Uniform Regiment and Vanguard Army. Are you kidding me? Yellow Uniform Regiment and Vanguard Army, what the hell is that? Hearing this, Yan Kai was stunned. You don't even know that, you're really dumb. Guan Wenbao had been cramming in some trendy culture recently. When he heard that Yan Kai did not understand, he immediately gave him a look of disdain. Fuck, you seem to know that. Yan Kai was unconvinced. Of course I know. Guan Wenbao nodded deeply. Then tell me, are they all dumb? From the sound of it, it sounds like those guild names in online games. Lei, have you been playing online games recently? Guan Wenbao asked Huang Lei seriously, leaving Huang Lei speechless. You two clowns, don't interrupt. Bai Lin Luo was a little angry. Don't be fooled by this little four eyes who did not know martial arts. He did not have any true energy. But for some reason, when he was angry, even the two masters with extraordinary speed would be afraid. Didn't they say that rabbits will bite when they are cornered? That was probably the meaning of that sentence. These two organizations are one of the three biggest gangs in a city. Bai Lin Luo reminded Huang Lei, don't mention going against two. Even if we go against one of them, we'll be in an awkward situation. Haven't you ever thought about this? Fortune comes from risk, don't you think so, big brother? Huang Lei could not bear the pressure from Bai Lin Luo. He could only look at Li Fan pleadingly. We have an agreement with Fu Fan. Li Fan touched his chin and said slowly, since they gave us a task, if we don't complete it, we will lose our credibility. Tell me, how much is the reward for this mission? This 500,000 is the deposit. Huang Lei placed a black canvas bag in front of Li Fan and the others. The remaining 1 million, give it to us after the job is done. It's Fu Fan after all. He's really generous. 1.5 million was indeed not a small number. Even if it was Li Fan, after hearing this price, it was impossible for him not to be tempted. My master Fan, you have to think it through. This 1.5 million is not easy to earn. Bai Lin Luo hurriedly reminded Li Fan. He was afraid that Li Fan would be hot-headed and do something out of line. Of course it's not easy to earn, but I can't not earn the money. Li Fan said, Little Four Eyes, is there any way to sow discord between them? I've done some research on them. Hearing Li Fan said so, Bai Lin Luo no longer hesitated. He was Li Fan's strategist. Usually, he was responsible for reminding Li Fan so that he would not go the wrong way. Once Li Fan made a decision, he would assist Li Fan to complete the task. This was what a qualified strategist should do. The Red Dragon Society, the Yellow-Clothed Group and the Vanguard Army were originally in a tripartite state in a city. Previously, everyone was hostile towards each other, so the world was divided into three parts. But now it's different. The relationship between Lu Xinan and Yang Ruining has been strained. The Red Dragon Society has lost its bridge with the Vanguard Army. On the contrary, the Yellow-Clothed Group and the White-Clothed Group are now like glue. Their relationship is unprecedentedly good. This made the Red Dragon Society feel the pressure. That Fu Fan is a member of the Red Dragon Society? Li Fan was a little surprised. I don't think so. If he was a member of the Red Dragon Society, why would he mess with Hu Yang? Hu Yang's backer was the Red Dragon Society. If Fu Fan was also a member of the Red Dragon Society, why would he mess with Hu Yang? Big brother, Fu Fan is indeed a member of the Red Dragon Society. Huang Lei said, it's just that he is a very low-key person. Very few people know about this. It's precisely because he's from the Crimson Dragon Society that no one would suspect him when Hu Yang enters. Huh? Bai Lin Luo was a little surprised. Did I hear it wrong? Lei actually spat out ivory from a dog's mouth. Huang Lei was speechless. That was a little too much. Precisely because of this, Fu Fan destroyed the people who threatened his position the last time. This time, he's going to destroy the organization that threatened the Red Dragon Society's position. Bai Lin Luo concluded, the danger in this goes without saying. My master Fan, you really want to do this? Of course I want to do it. Li Fan did not have the slightest hesitation, fighting against the underworld is the duty of every citizen. He said righteously, I, Li Fan, am such an ambitious young man. Everyone in the room was speechless. Alright, since you want to do it, I'll help you. Bai Lin Luo pushed his glasses up, and the gears in his brain started spinning again. There is a way, but it's a little risky. I'll ask you one last time, are you sure you want to do it? What's there to be afraid of? There are only a few gambles in life. Li Fan raised his arm and shouted, anyway, I've always hated the Yellow Uniform Society and the Vanguard. Damn it, they're not good people. It's a good time to mess with them. Let's have some fun. But, isn't the Yellow Uniform Society's goddaughter your good friend? Bai Lin Luo asked Li Fan again, you're messing with her gang, are you sure they won't come after you? TSK, when did we become good friends? Li Fan corrected him, we're just business partners. Besides, the Yellow Uniform Society has already offended me, I won't let it go so easily. If I don't uproot these poisonous weeds from City A, I won't feel comfortable. The Red Dragon Society isn't a good person either. Bai Lin Luo reminded him. Don't worry, the Red Dragon Society is just a matter of time. Li Fan laughed, my working relationship with Fu Fan is extremely dangerous, it's only a matter of time before it collapses. Lei, be more vigilant when you meet with Fu Fan's people in the future. I will, big brother. Huang Lei said, but in his mind, he was recalling the girl's flirtatious behavior last night. She was also very good at licking him, making him feel very comfortable. Sigh, when can we have sex again? If I knew this would happen, we should have exchanged WeChat messages. Alright, it's settled. Little Four Eyes, come up with a plan for us. Okay. Bai Lin Luo didn't hesitate, he immediately pulled out the whiteboard and began to assign tasks to Li Fan and the rest. Although the task was difficult, as the brain of Phenomenal Express, Bai Lin Luo must make sure the plan was executed perfectly. This time, they needed some tools and 2 people to do it. Yang Ruining didn't know that Li Fan had taken the initiative to target him this time. At this moment, he was practicing kickboxing with a pair of beautiful twins on the bed to increase his experience and unlock more postures. At this moment, his phone rang, he was so angry that he wanted to throw the phone away. But when he realized it was a capable subordinate, he could only call a truce with the 2 beauties and pick up the phone. Young master, we've found the expert you wanted. Chapter 294. Oh. Yang Ruining's anger subsided a little. Finding an expert is very important. Yang Ruining thinks that Li Fan only knows a bit of martial arts, so he can't let him be so arrogant anymore. As a young master, if he can't even deal with him, how can he mingle in the underworld? Huang Fu Feng, Shen Mengjie, these unreliable people, naturally can't be found. This time, he will find a real expert. Who is the other party? If it's some small fry, don't throw them at this young master. Yang Ruining is in a bad mood. Defeat after defeat has made his mood fall to the bottom of the valley. If there were more monsters and demons, he would really explode. Young master, this is said to be an expert from Medicine King Valley. His underling quickly said on the phone, it's an expert. Our 30 or so subordinates were all taken down by him in a single exchange. Is that so? Yang Ruining pulled out his doppelganger and stood up from the bed. The 2 twin beauties gently put clothes on him. You 2 wait for this young master will go out and take a look. Yang Ruining said as he put on his clothes and walked out of the room that is filled with a lascivious atmosphere. In the hall on the 1st floor, a man in a black robe is casually sitting on the sofa, one hand lightly tapping on the teacup in front of him, as if thinking about something. There's no Longjing, I only like to drink Longjing. Lying beside him are Yang Ruining's underlings, those elite vanguard thugs. These usually powerful thugs are now standing crookedly on the side. We really don't have that kind of inferior tea here. Yang Ruining said with a smile as he walked down the stairs, but I have some top quality de Hong Pao, would you like to try it? I'm not used to drinking it. The man in black waved his hand, I only like to drink Longjing. It's said that the temper of experts is a bit weird. Today I've seen it for myself. Yang Ruining said, but if you are a real expert, I can forgive you for this. Your tone is quite big. The man in black chuckled, you probably don't know, but within a 10-meter radius, it's my forbidden zone. Right now, you are in my forbidden zone. As long as I wave my finger, you will die. Really? Yang Ruining didn't seem to believe it. The black-robed man immediately waved his finger, and Yang Ruining immediately felt his legs go soft, and he directly fell on the stairs behind him. Blood began to flow from his nose, and his vision began to darken. This kind of feeling was like death was about to come. I don't want to die, Yang Ruining started to tremble. When the black-robed man retracted his finger, Yang Ruining's pain immediately dissipated. He returned to his normal state and took a few deep breaths. Just now, death seemed to be right beside him. I am a disciple of the Yin Gate of the Medicine King Valley. Everything within a 10-meter radius has been corroded by my poison attack. If I wanted to kill you, it would be as easy as crushing an ant. Expert, he is indeed an expert. Although Yang Ruining was unhappy, he pretended to be pleasantly surprised. He cupped his hands towards the man and said, you're the expert I'm looking for. You flatter me. The black-robed man said indifferently, I came to City A to do something. However, he had left in a hurry and did not have enough money for travel. If I help you for a week, I'll get 1 million. Deal. Yang Ruining agreed without hesitation. This man's skill was too heaven-defying. He was simply a poisonous man. As long as he was willing to help him, in a week, he could get rid of that Bradley fan. No matter how powerful he was, he couldn't possibly resist the pervasive poison gas. Even the heavens wanted to help me, giving me such a powerful expert. This time, it was really just a matter of time before he could chase after those few top-grade beauties. This house of yours is not bad. I'll stay here first. The black-robed man was really friendly, but Yang Ruining didn't care. Alright, this is for you to stay here. However, I still don't know sir's name. My surname is Ma, first name Wen Chang. You can call me Mr. Ma, or you can call me Law Protector Ma. The black-robed man said with some pride, alright, I'm going to rest. Don't disturb me tonight, I'm going to practice. From tomorrow onwards, I'll be by your side and listen to your orders. That's naturally good, I can't thank you enough. Yang Ruining immediately cupped his hands and said to Ma Wenchang, there are 2 twin beauties upstairs. If Mr. Ma doesn't mind, you can enjoy them tonight. You're quite sensible. Very good. Ma Wenchang smiled and nodded. It seemed that Yang Ruining finally understood his preferences. Damn it, old pervert. Yang Ruining cursed in his heart, but his face was still respectful as he watched this expert go upstairs. Although the 2 beauties were a bit good, it was a pity to let them serve others. But as long as he served this expert well, everything else would not be a problem. Li Fan, I want to see how long you can be so cocky. Yang Ruining was proud in his heart, but the next day, he couldn't laugh anymore. When he saw the 2 beauties again, they had already turned into dried corpses. Fuck. What the hell is this Ma Wenchang doing? Is he a fucking vampire? Looking at Yang Ruining's questioning eyes, Ma Wenchang slowly said, I am a disciple of the Medicine King Valley's Yin Gate, and I practice poison attacks. My entire body is filled with poison, including my corpse. These 2 girls are not bad, but unfortunately, they can't withstand my poison. Yang Ruining took 2 steps back, putting some distance between him and Ma Wenchang. Hee, don't be afraid. If you don't touch my corpse, you won't be poisoned to death. Ma Wenchang laughed. Yang Ruining said in his heart, damn it, then don't you know how to wear a condom? Do you have to kill people to be happy? What, young Master Yang doesn't have the ability to settle this matter? Forget it. Mr. Ma, be careful next time. Although human life is not worth much, it's still a bit troublesome to deal with. Yang Ruining clapped his hands. Some of his subordinates came in, put on gloves and masks, and then dragged the two corpses out. These two girls are not bad. Let's get two more tonight. Ma Wenchang laughed. Yang Ruining's head immediately swelled. This kind of top-quality twins can only be found by luck. I only have this pair. He was still feeling heartache. This shameless guy actually wants a pair. Where can I get one? What a pity. If I knew earlier, I would have done it for a week and not wear a condom. Ma Wenchang was quite regretful. Yang Ruining was almost angered to death. This bastard, when I'm done with him, I'll quickly send him away. But why did this kind of person come to a city? This made Yang Ruining curious. By the way, help me find out where this person is. Ma Wenchang pushed out a photo. When Yang Ruining saw it, he was surprised. Isn't this Muronging? Chapter 295. Yang Ruining guessed wrong. Ma Wenchang was not looking for Muronging, but her sister, Murong Ai. That damned woman actually stole their Medicine King Valley's poison manual. Medicine King Valley was a secluded sect that rarely moved about in the outside world. Therefore, news was blocked and information lagged behind. Ma Wenchang still did not know that the current chief of Wulin was Muronging. If he knew, he would not have come to a city so rashly. I'll help you investigate this person. Muronging was the woman he wanted. He had not enjoyed her yet. He could not let this poisonous Ma Wenchang do whatever he wanted. Therefore, Yang Ruining deliberately concealed that he knew about Muronging. His target was only Li Fan. As long as Li Fan was dead, the top-quality girls around him would be a piece of cake. Okay, then I'm going to practice. Ma Wenchang patted his butt and was about to get up to leave when he was stopped by Yang Ruining. That. Mr. Ma. Guardian Ma, what's the matter? Ma Wenchang frowned and seemed a little unhappy. Yang Ruining was unhappy in his heart. Young master hired you to work, not to let you take care of me. However, he could only mutter this in his heart. He did not dare to say it out loud. After all, Ma Wenchang was an expert. If he really fought with him, he would not be able to stop him. This kind of person had to be coaxed. Mr. Ma. We have an important banquet tonight. I need Mr. Ma to attend it with me. Oh, going to dinner? Almost, but I can't guarantee the safety of the scene, so I hope Mr. Ma can take care of it for me. So troublesome. Ma Wenchang looked unhappy. I can go, but prepare a car. The car doesn't need to be too high class. A Bentley will do. Damn, this is not high class. This guy thinks too highly of himself. He said he would not drink Da Hong Pao before, but didn't he drink all the Da Hong Pao at home in one night? This made Yang Ruining's heart ache. After all, the production of Da Hong Pao was extremely low. Even if he had money, he might not be able to get it. Since he had spent so much, he had to use it where it mattered most. Yang Ruining was not a fool. Although he spent money like water, he never wasted it. This was Yang Ruining's life principle. That was why he was able to sit in the position of the Vanguard Army's young master at such a young age. Don't worry, I will definitely prepare the car for you. Yang Ruining maintained his smile and cupped his hands at Ma Wenchang. Mr. Ma, we're counting on you tonight. Alright, I got it. Apart from eating, don't call me. I'm going to concentrate on practicing. After saying that, Ma Wenchang turned around and left, as if he didn't want to bother with Yang Ruining anymore. Yang Ruining cursed in his heart. This old thing was really a bastard. Just because he had some martial arts, he was even more shameless than Li Fan. No, after I deal with Li Fan, I must deal with this Ma Wenchang as well. Otherwise, his heart would not be balanced. Yang Ruining did not know that Li Fan was also watching him at this moment. The place where Yang Ruining and Wang Baiqiang met was a very famous restaurant in City A. Its name was Number 1 Under Heaven. The owner of the restaurant was also a famous big brother in the underworld, but he had retired for a long time. Now that he had opened such a restaurant, the people in the underworld had to give him some face. Yang Ruining was a famous young master in the underworld, and Wang Baiqiang was also a famous figure for many years. There was a legend in the Yellow Clothes Society, and his name was Sun Jiaoyang. It was said that this Sun Jiaoyang debuted at the age of 15, and was already a big brother at the age of 25. Now he was 50 years old, and he was an all-powerful figure in City A. Even a young master like Yang Ruining had to respectfully call him uncle when he saw him. And Sun Jiaoyang rarely appeared now. Most of the time, it was his nephew, deputy gang leader Wang Baiqiang. Although Wang Baiqiang was Sun Jiaoyang's nephew, he also debuted on his own. It was only until he made a name for himself that everyone knew that he had such a powerful background. Sun Jiaoyang seemed to like this kind of person, including the daughter of the Red Dragon Society, Lu Xinan. She also liked him, so he took her as his goddaughter. In terms of age, Yang Ruining and Wang Baiqiang were naturally older. But in terms of status, Yang Ruining was still higher. There was no one else in the entire restaurant, and everyone was the underlings of both sides. On the left sat the members of the yellow uniform group. Every one of them was wearing yellow clothing. Some were wearing yellow t-shirts, some were wearing yellow jackets, some were wearing yellow pants, and some were even wearing yellow scarves or yellow hats. On the other hand, Yang Ruining's vanguard was much simpler. Everyone was wearing clean black suits. They didn't look like triads, but more like the company's sales staff. "Brother, we haven't seen each other for a long time, right?" Wang Baiqiang sat opposite Yang Ruining. Although there were dozens of underlings on both sides, there were only the two of them at their table. The table was filled with all kinds of sumptuous dishes, and Yang Ruining was pouring wine for the two of them. "It's been a long time. Last year, when Big Brother's child was 1 month old, I went to the wedding." Yang Ruining placed the wine in front of Wang Baiqiang respectfully. "It's my fault as a younger brother, I should visit Big Brother more often." "Ai, don't say that, we're all family in the future." Wang Baiqiang waved his hand. "It's a pity that you and that girl Lu Xinan. In Big Brother's opinion, you two were quite compatible. Why did it end up being ruined? Did that girl look down on my little brother? She must be blind." "Ai, it's no use saying this now that fate is gone." Yang Ruining was filled with emotion. "The two of us are probably the legendary fated but not fated to be together. Lu Xinan is ambitious, and she looks down on us. I can't do anything about it, I can only wish her happiness. It's okay, that's because she doesn't have the taste, and she doesn't have the luck. Later, Big Brother will introduce you to a good one, 100 times better than her." That's true, that's true." Yang Ruining also had bitterness that he could not voice out. He wanted to get married, but Lu Xinan had to agree to it. "Damn that Li Fan, it's all because of that brat. If I don't kill him, I won't feel balanced." Yang Ruining's heart was filled with hatred, but he still had a smile on his face. "Big Brother, this little brother will give you a toast first. Come, 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 cheers." Wang Baiqiang and Yang Ruining clinked glasses, and the two of them exchanged toasts, exchanging all kinds of greetings. And Ma Wenchang was sitting at the table next to them, leisurely drinking a top-grade Maotai. It was as if he was not here to be a bodyguard, but really here to eat. "Little brother, we can't just drink, it's time to talk about serious matters." Wang Baiqiang finally put down his wine glass and got to the point. "Big Brother is right, I'm listening." Yang Ruining also put down his wine glass, saying in his heart, "It's finally coming." Chapter 296. Recently, the Red Dragon Society has been a bit arrogant. Wang Baiqiang went straight to the point, their territory is increasing, and their business is getting bigger and bigger. A few days ago, they bought over a few of my bets. To be honest, I'm a bit pissed. Yeah, don't just talk about me, as the younger brother, I'm also pissed. Yang Ruining nodded, they're really going overboard. They want to monopolize the market and destroy both of our families. You're right. Wang Baiqiang nodded, fuck, I finally see it. That brat Lu Xinnan, ever since she took over her old man's group, she's been getting more and more out of control. When Mr. Lu was still in power, everyone trusted him. Not to mention anything else, he and my uncle were comrades in arms from the same trenches. Their relationship was as strong as iron. When Mr. Lu was still in power, there weren't so many things, our three families were so harmonious. Look at now, it's over, it's all over. Our relationship will be destroyed sooner or later. Although we've separated, we should wish each other well, but I really can't take it anymore. Yang Ruining slammed the table, a bit pissed, I've had enough, that woman, she's too ambitious, she doesn't even care about us. When we were still together, I told her that the three families would work together and earn money together. But guess what she said? What did she say? She cursed the one next door, that woman, she actually said she looks down on the Yellow Shirt Society. What? Wang Baiqiang was a bit pissed when he heard that. She said she only admires Boss Sun, once Boss Sun retires, you'll be the leader, then she won't care about the Yellow Shirt Society anymore. When that time comes, I'm afraid the Red Dragon Society will be ruthless to the Yellow Shirt Society. That's what that woman said about me. Although she was his god-sister, Wang Baiqiang was obviously unhappy with this woman. Yeah, she said, big brother, your character is bad, your bearing is bad, and your charisma is terrible, there's no way you can inherit the Yellow Shirt Society. Fucking bullshit. Wang Baiqiang was completely pissed, slamming the table, the Yellow Shirt Society will only get better in my hands. I'm going to fuck those stinking bitches. Forget it, there's no need to get angry with this kind of woman. Yang Ruining suddenly sighed and advised, no matter what, the Red Dragon Society is now a big organization and is in the limelight. Our two families should restrain ourselves so that she won't cause trouble for us. What's there to be afraid of? She's nothing. Wang Baiqiang scolded, I'm going to teach this woman a lesson. Brother, you had an affair with her. Whose side are you on? As for me, although I had some feelings for her, Yang Ruining was secretly delighted. This was the effect he wanted. He was about to continue, but at this moment, from among Wang Baiqiang's subordinates, a man wearing a mask suddenly stood up. He held a crude Hualong-made pistol in his hand and fired a shot at Yang Ruining opposite him. Bang! The bullet was fired, but Ma Wenchang, who was sitting on the side, suddenly turned his head and waved his hand to throw the teacup. The bullet hit the teacup and caused it to explode, but Yang Ruining was still alive. Motherfucker, the Yellow Shirt Society wants to kill our young master. Someone from the vanguard shouted, brothers, get your weapons and fuck them up. The vanguard immediately drew their axes from their waists and rushed towards the Yellow Shirt Society. The Yellow Shirt Society did not want to fall behind. They also drew their machetes and fought with the vanguard. Wang Baiqiang and Yang Ruining were still in a daze. What was going on? Why was it that a second ago, they were still lovey-dovey, but the next second, they were fighting? In this kind of situation, even if they wanted to suppress it, it would be impossible, right? Moreover, Yang Ruining was also very angry. He shouted at Wang Baiqiang, you motherfucker. I trusted you so much, but you actually want to kill me. Brother, calm down, Wang Baiqiang was just about to explain when one of his favorite subordinates was already slashed to the ground by the vanguard. OL, 5. Wang Baiqiang's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. This deputy was like his own brother, but now he was seriously injured and was about to die. This undoubtedly made him lose his rationality. Yang Ruining, I'll fuck you. Wang Baiqiang also picked up a machete and pounced towards Yang Ruining. Mr. Ma, protect me. Yang Ruining was so scared that he kept retreating. This Wang Baiqiang was much more ferocious than him. Although Yang Ruining had practiced some karate, he did not want to get injured in a place like this. As he retreated, he looked for Ma Wenchang. But when he looked carefully, he could not find Ma Wenchang at all. Fuck, where did that old man go at such a crucial time? Yang Ruining thought that Ma Wenchang had run away, but that was not the case. At this time, Ma Wenchang had already caught up to the person who fired the gun earlier and jumped out of the restaurant's window together with him. Kid, where do you think you're going? Ma Wenchang leaped into the air and landed in front of that figure, blocking his path. You can fool others, but you can't fool me. A martial artist actually using such a childish firearm. You're really an embarrassment to us martial artists. Interesting. Li Fan pulled his mask and looked at the middle-aged man in front of him, trying to guess his identity. Who is this guy? He seems to be quite skilled. If he hadn't stopped him just now, Yang Ruining would have been shot. The Hualong gun in Li Fan's hand was also obtained from Fu Fan. It could only be fired once, and one more shot would cause it to explode. According to Little Four Eyes' plan, it should have been quite smooth. But he didn't expect that someone would appear out of nowhere, and that someone like this would pop out. Kid, which sect are you from? Ma Wenchang asked. After all, I don't kill nameless people. When I go to the netherworld, I can hold on to my identity. Sorry, today is a private visit. It's not convenient for me to reveal my name. Li Fan chuckled and laughed. Kid, what a pity. You can only be a nameless wild ghost. Ma Wenchang said and waved his hand. When Li Fan saw a layer of green mist floating in the air, he immediately retreated a few steps in alert, avoiding this mist. Ma Wenchang furrowed his brows and narrowed his eyes. You sense my poisonous mist? Poisonous mist? Li Fan suddenly realized, no wonder it's green. Ma Wenchang was taken aback by her words. You can tell it's green poisonous mist. How is that possible? His poisonous mist was indeed green, but after being tempered by his true chi had become colorless. How did this man in front of him who covered his face see it? Chapter 297. Tell me, how did you see through it? As Ma Wenchang said this, he controlled his poisonous fog and gathered it towards Li Fan again. Ha! Li Fan roared like a tiger roaring through the forest. The shockwave spread out and directly blew the poisonous fog back to Ma Wenchang's side. Ma Wenchang, on the other hand, specialized in playing with poison. With a wave of his hand, he gathered the poisonous mist into his sleeve. I didn't expect to meet a strange person here. Ma Wenchang was very interested in Li Fan, but also a little afraid. Since you can detect my poisonous fog, then I can't let you live. Today, I must take your life. Ma Wenchang's killing intent rose. This Li Fan must not be left alive. Every day he lives, he is a threat to me. Not only me, his existence is a threat to the entire Medicine King Valley. Why, are you ready to kill me? Li Fan didn't care at all. Instead, he laughed, but I don't have time to play with you today. Let's meet again another day. With that, Li Fan's feet bounced and his body floated backward like a gust of wind. He stepped on the air conditioner behind him and floated 5 meters high, landing on the rooftop of the 3rd floor of the hotel. Your qigong is good, but you can't escape. Ma Wenchang seemed to have some confidence in his qigong. His body was like a ghost, flying directly up the building. From afar, it looked like a black robe was rolling on its own. It was extremely strange. Li Fan turned around to take a look and was extremely surprised. What the hell is this Medicine King Valley's qigong? Why is it really like a ghost? Kid, where are you going? Ma Wenchang's body was in midair. He stretched out his hand towards Li Fan and grabbed Li Fan with his palm. His palm was emerald green like jade. It looked very strange as it could be. Li Fan frowned. He was hesitating if he should face this guy's palm. But it was too late to dodge now. Facing his palm was the most effective way. But if he were to use his bare hands to fight, he would probably be poisoned. Li Fan thought of a way. He wrapped his true qi around his palm, and then used the Bear King seal to meet Ma Wenchang's poisonous palm. Bang! Pa! Two crisp sounds rang out, as if someone had hit a double kick. The two of them separated as soon as they made contact, and the green poisonous mist and true qi exploded in all directions. The billboard next to it caved in, and some of the birds perched on it fell straight down. Their bodies stiffened, and they fell to the ground dead. Ma Wenchang's poisonous mist was very powerful. Li Fan had already stopped his breathing and sealed all the pores on his body, allowing his true qi to circulate within his body, maintaining a state of internal circulation and external closure. Ma Wenchang's poison spread to Li Fan's body, but Li Fan cleverly sealed all the pores on his body, preventing Ma Wenchang's poison from entering. When Ma Wenchang saw that Li Fan was not afraid of his poisonous gas, his brows furrowed even deeper. How was this possible? There was actually someone who could resist his poison mist. This was simply inconceivable. As for Li Fan, he was well aware of his own condition. The last time Liao Wushuang raised the question about true qi, he had carefully studied the true qi in his body. He discovered that true qi, blood, and oxygen had a very important relationship. Although the dantian was the place to store true qi, the place that could really exert the effects of true qi was the heart. When the true qi circulated, it would also accelerate the blood circulation in his body, thus speeding up his body's metabolism. The human body's metabolism would speed up, making the person healthier and better. But if the metabolism slowed down, the amount of energy lost would also be lesser. In theory, this way, one's lifespan would be longer. If Li Fan wanted to describe it, his heart was like the engine of a car. The stronger the internal energy of a person, the stronger this engine would be. For example, an expert who had reached the point of perfection might have a 4-cylinder engine. And an expert who had reached the next level would have a 6-cylinder engine. They had reached the peak of perfection, so it should be an 8-cylinder engine. The engine would quickly inhale, compress true qi, and then release it. This power was extremely powerful. Every time the true qi entered through the pores of the body, it would be discharged through the pores of the body. And when Li Fan closed his pores, the true qi would completely form an internal cycle, making Li Fan's power be restrained and not released. Instead, it would be even more explosive. Li Fan could maintain this kind of time for about 3 minutes. It was like holding one's breath, it was very difficult to maintain it for too long. If it was too long, Li Fan's internal cycle would collapse, and he would need external oxygen to continue to operate. But after Li Fan mastered the closing of the pores, he could better cultivate true qi. This was because he could open and close his pores to obtain the oxygen in the air and enter his body. This true qi should have been discharged with the beating of the heart, but because Li Fan's pores were closed, most of the true qi rolled into the dantian, making Li Fan's dantian store more true qi. If it was a normal person, there would be about 38,000 pores on the skin. Among them, 19,000 were the pores for inhaling, and the other 19,000 were the pores for exhaling. Li Fan had closed the pores for exhaling, but he still kept the pores for inhaling. When needed, he could turn all 38,000 pores into pores for inhaling air, or into pores for exhaling air. This way, Li Fan could absorb and release true qi twice as much as a normal person, or even more. To be able to do all this was not easy. Li Fan had a unique abnormal bone-changing physique, so he could do all this. At this time, Li Fan had closed all the pores on his body, even the inhaling and exhaling to prevent himself from being hit. Li Fan waved his hand, bringing up a palm wind, sweeping away the poisonous fog around him, and then retreated 3 to 4 meters, out of the range of the poisonous fog. Damn it! Ma Wenchang felt like he was sitting on pins and needles. This person could actually restrain his martial arts. This was too scary. No matter what, he had to keep this kid here today. Go! Ma Wenchang threw out a black lightning bolt, charging straight at Li Fan. But fortunately, Li Fan had the vision to slow down infinitely. He reached out and caught the black shadow in his hand. With the help of the moonlight, he took a closer look. Good lord, this guy was actually a little snake. The little black snake had a triangular head, and there were patterns on its body. One look and one could tell that it was extremely poisonous. It spat out its fangs, trying to bite Li Fan's mouth. But how could Li Fan fall for it? He quickly squeezed his palm, directly breaking the little black snake into two. My baby! Ma Wenchang screamed in pain. He was clearly a man, but he let out a hysterical cry like a woman. It could be seen that this thing might be very important to him. Old poison, I don't have time to play with you. Young master will leave first. Chapter 298. Li Fan's mission today was to disrupt the meeting between the yellow-clothed regiment and the vanguard army, not to fight with this guy. He took a few more steps back. Once he was free of the poisonous fog, he opened all the pores on his body and released his true chi. Extreme Bear King Seal. Li Fan rushed in Ma Wenchang's direction and pushed out with both hands. Boom! Like a tsunami, Li Fan's true chi surged out in waves, crashing into Ma Wenchang's body. The green fog that covered the sky was instantly dispersed. Even Ma Wenchang was sent flying by this powerful true chi, heavily smashing into the billboard behind him, causing a dent to appear on the already deformed billboard. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Li Fan leaped down from the sky. Dear scamper! Li Fan's right foot bounced in the air and stepped on the air. However, he stepped out with true energy and charged into the air. His entire body leaped forward a few meters. He somersaulted and landed on the opposite building. His posture was like that of a sprinting wild deer, leaping over a mountain stream with a beautiful posture. Li Fan quickly concealed his figure, while Ma Wenchang slowly descended from the billboard, massaging his muscles and bones. Damn it! Who the hell is this kid? Ma Wenchang was shocked and confused. Li Fan's existence had completely subverted his common sense. How could there be anyone in this world who was not afraid of their Yin Gate's poisonous fog? The Medicine King Valley's poison manual had been passed down for hundreds of years and had never been wrong. The Medicine King Valley's research on the human body was very thorough. There were two branches in the Medicine King Valley. One was the Yang Gate, which specialized in saving lives, and the other was the Yin Gate, which specialized in the study of poison manual. These two groups were always fighting, because the things they were researching were completely opposite. But after fighting for so many years, there was no clear winner. Between the Yin Gate and the Yang Gate, there would always be different experts. Whether it was poison or medicine, it all depended on the individual's strength. Sometimes the Yin Gate suppressed the Yang Gate, and sometimes the Yang Gate suppressed the Yin Gate. However, after so many years, these two sects still existed and never declined. What shocked Ma Wenchang was that his poison should have 100% destructive power to the human body. Unless he used the antidote, it would be impossible for anyone who was poisoned by him to survive. What method did that brat use? Not only was he not poisoned, but he was also alive and kicking. Damn it! This person is the natural enemy of Medicine King Valley, he must be eliminated. But before that, he had to get rid of the woman who had stolen the book of poison. Ma Wenchang needed to borrow the power of the local tyrant, Yang Ruining. However, he didn't know if that guy was dead or not, so he had to go back and take a look. Ma Wenchang used his qinggong and quickly returned to his original position. At this time, the battle in the restaurant had already ended. Yang Ruining was apologizing to the owner of the restaurant. The owner of the restaurant didn't say much. Although he had quite a lot of connections, Yang Ruining's identity was still there. It was unlikely that he would go against him. It looked like Wang Baiqiang had been defeated. His men were almost wiped out, while Yang Ruining's vanguard army was elite, so there were still many left. There were still more than 20 men in black suits who remained intact. All of them had white ribbons tied around their right arms, which was the symbol of their battle. The representative color of the vanguard army was white. Although he had won once, Yang Ruining didn't have any smile on his face. He originally wanted to join forces with the yellow-clothed group. After that, they would deal with the Red Dragon Society together. After dealing with the Red Dragon Society, he would deal with the yellow-clothed group. In the generation before them, when Sun Jiaoyang, as well as his and Lu Xinnan's father were still in power, the three bosses had a good relationship. City A had always been divided into three parts. In order to strengthen the relationship between the three, the boss of the Red Dragon Society had his daughter, Lu Xinnan, engaged him. At the same time, Sun Jiaoyang of the yellow-clothed group had also accepted Lu Xinnan as his goddaughter. This Lu Xinnan, a woman, had become the bridge to balance the strength of the three families. However, after the three bosses retreated behind the scenes, things slowly changed. First of all, as a woman, Lu Xinnan seemed to be very ambitious. She was unwilling to give the Red Dragon Society's family business to Yang Ruining just like that. Therefore, she looked for Li Fan to beat Yang Ruining up, completely ruining the marriage between the two. Then, Wang Baiqiang took over. He was also unwilling to let the yellow-clothed group be in the weakest position. In City A, the upper echelons of business belonged to the Red Dragon Society and the Vanguard Army. The yellow-clothed group did the lowest of the low. This made Wang Baiqiang very uncomfortable. He didn't want to be like this forever. His thoughts were similar to Yang Ruining's. First, cooperate with the Vanguard Army and destroy the Red Dragon Society, which had the strongest momentum. As for dealing with Yang Ruining, it wouldn't be too late to settle the score later. However, no one expected such a thing to happen now. Big brother. I've let you down. His right-hand man was lying on the hospital bed. One of his arms and one of his legs could no longer be reattached. With tears in the corner of his eyes, he said to Wang Baiqiang, "I can't help you anymore." Wang Baiqiang couldn't help but be moved. His assistant was a tough man. In the past, when he was stabbed, he didn't even make a sound. But now, he was crying, "OL5, don't be afraid. I'll find you the best doctor and send you to America to reattach the most advanced arms and legs. I promise you that you'll be like a whole person. Nothing will happen to you." He had always treated this assistant like his own younger brother. In the past, when they were fighting, OL5 had helped him take countless blows. But now, he was beaten up to this state. "Yang Ruining, I'm irreconcilable with you." Just that night, the new structure that was about to take shape in City A suddenly changed. The yellow-clothed group and the Vanguard Army were originally glued to each other, but now they were almost mortal enemies. Li Fan and the others were naturally happy when they split the money. After Huang Lei took the money, the first thing he did was to find a place to have some fun. Jianggan District was undoubtedly his best choice. Huang Lei went to a shampoo room that he usually went to. Although it was called a shampoo room, it was washing the small hair below. According to Huang Lei's usual taste, he found a chubby girl and started to fuck her. After he was done and turned on the lights, Huang Lei regretted it. This technician looked a bit too unworthy of the audience. The technician was cleaning his lower body when Huang Lei lit a cigarette and asked, "Girl, how long have you been working?" "More than 3 years, brother." Although the technician didn't look good, her service attitude was good. She was also very gentle and basically answered every question. "How much money can you make in a month?" Huang Lei asked as he smoked. 5 or 6,000 when it's high, 1 or 2,000 when it's low. "You earn too little. Is it because you're ugly and have fewer customers?" Chapter 299. Big brother, what are you talking about? The technician was a bit unhappy. "Don't look at me because I'm ugly, but I live well. Let me tell you, brother, I have a lot of repeat customers. This set of mine is very good. I can slap, I can touch, I can lick, and I can rap. Brother, with this set of mine, do you feel uncomfortable? It's okay. You still need to practice more. Huang Lei felt very comfortable being licked earlier, but he still felt a bit uncomfortable. Although he likes fat women, the one in front of him was too ugly. Those who didn't know better would think that there was a black diamond. Sister, brother wants to ask you something. Okay, brother, go ahead. The technician didn't forget to clean up Huang Lei, but Huang Lei asked, why do you want to do this? Brother, why are you asking this? This is definitely not a hobby. The technician muttered in his heart, is this person sick? Isn't it because I'm forced to do this? Otherwise, who would do this? You're wrong to think like that. Come, let me teach you a lesson. Huang Lei crossed his legs, held a cigarette, and said very seriously, Sister, let me tell you, as a person, you must have ambition. Yes, with 2 legs, you can make money quickly. But this thing is after all a youth meal, and a single mistake can cause everlasting regret. Do you think your future husband will marry you if he knows you are in this line of work? If your child knows that you did this, what will he think? Brother, we just smashed a cannon. We came out to have fun, why are you trying to reason with me? The technician was about to collapse. It's because of this that I want to remind you. Huang Lei continued, look at the other customers, which one of them didn't pull up their pants and leave? They're irresponsible. But brother is different, brother is a responsible person. Sister, how about brother help you find a job? Being a waitress or something is fine. What kind of waitress do I? I don't earn much, and it's quite tiring. The technician couldn't help but say, what's wrong with me doing this? It's dirty. Big brother, don't be like this. The technician couldn't hang on much longer. Sis, don't be angry. I'm doing this for your own good. I'm trying to reason with you. Bro, don't be like this. How about I give you a clock and you do it again? This isn't about the clock. We'll talk about that later. Right now, we're talking about your choice, your life, and your future. Huang Lei's saliva flew everywhere, and the technician cried, Brother, I was wrong. I'll treat it as you playing for nothing today. I don't want this money anymore. I'll leave, okay? No, I'm not short of money. I'll pay you for another 2 hours. Let me talk to you. Brother, I was really wrong. Please let me go. The technician knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Huang Lei. She didn't dare to make the guest angry, so she could only do this. Why are you kneeling? Don't you know that there is gold under your knees? The technician thought to himself, why didn't I hear you say that when I was kneeling for you to lick? Come, get up. I haven't finished yet. Huang Lei was about to teach this woman a lesson, but at this moment, his room's door was suddenly kicked open. The sound of the door being kicked open was very loud, scaring Huang Lei. The technician was also frightened. She curled up on the ground, thinking that it was the police who came to check the room. A few burly men had already rushed in, and they seemed to be charging at Huang Lei. Without any hesitation, Huang Lei pointed 2 fingers at the burly man at the front. He hadn't been practicing martial arts properly, so Li Fan taught him 3 major moves, which were eye-piercing, chest-grabbing, and crotch-kicking. Huang Lei would practice these 3 moves every day, and it could be said that he had some small success in it. His 2 fingers immediately poked the eyes of the burly man at the front. The man screamed in pain as he covered his eyes and kneeled on the ground. Huang Lei didn't even have time to wear his pants. He jumped to the ground and was about to run, but he was pressed down by a few other burly men on the ground. What are you all doing? It's not like I'm not paying. Is there a need to do this? Shut up. A burly man kicked Huang Lei's face, and he immediately fainted. A burly man walked over and put a sack over Huang Lei's head. Then he carried his body and left the room. Before the burly man left, he pointed at the technician and said fiercely, You didn't see anything, right? I was asleep. I don't know anything. The technician said again and again. The burly man followed him out, and the technician let out a long sigh of relief. It seems like I really can't continue in this line of work. Damn it. Not to mention that I was played for free, I was almost scared to death. What happened to that man just now? Did he offend the underworld? When Huang Lei woke up, it was already night time. Perhaps it was night time, because he saw that the surrounding was dark and the light was very bad. He was tied to a chair with his hands behind his back, and his body was still naked. You're awake. A man in a hoodie with a mask in front of him stuffed his mobile phone into his arms. Call your elder brother. Guys, my elder brother is very busy. If there's anything, just tell me. Huang Lei looked at these burly men in front of him and knew that they didn't come with good intentions. Two of them were still adjusting the pistols in their hands. Huang Lei felt that they looked like two real guns under the dim light. Who are these people? They are definitely not ordinary kidnappers. After all, it was the first time for kidnappers to kidnap people from a gun room. This is a big matter, my elder brother will arrange it. But I can make the decision for small matters. You want money, right? This is not a big matter for us. I can make the decision. Why don't you let me go first and we can talk about it? Cut the crap. The man in the hoodie grabbed a 5-shot pistol and hit Huang Lei's chest with the butt. This hit made Huang Lei's chest hurt, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He saw stars in front of him, and his vision turned black. This guy is really ruthless. He's not a good guy. Huang Lei endured for a long time, and the strong nausea made him want to vomit. He desperately endured the pain. When he wanted to slow down, the man in the hoodie slapped his face. Call your elder brother, now. Ouch, elder brother, let's talk. How can you hit me? Huang Lei said, how can I make a phone call with my hands tied? Elder brother, do you want me to lick him? My tongue is not so long, and I've never practiced this kind of thing. Call, I'll make the call. The man in the hoodie picked up the phone. Speak now, or you'll never be able to speak. Speak, I'll speak. Huang Lei rolled his eyes, but my elder brother's name is quite hard to pronounce. I may not remember it. The 5-shot pistol hit Huang Lei's forehead. Hey, don't say it. I remember it again. Chapter 300. Mr. Li, right? After answering the phone, the hooded man went straight to the point. Your brother is in my hands. Come to the first phone booth at the 3rd intersection of Jianggan District in 15 minutes. One more person means 1 minute less. Just wait to collect your brother's body. After saying that, the hooded man hung up the phone. He disassembled the phone, broke the SIM card, and smashed the phone. In this way, Li Fan couldn't use the GPS to find them. On the other side, Li Fan frowned and hung up the phone. What happened? Muronging was practicing martial arts with Li Fan. He had grown so fast recently that even Muronging was jealous. The two of them had finally practiced for a while, but a phone call interrupted this rare warm moment. Li Fan struggled to crawl out from under Murongying's feet and put the phone in his pocket. Nothing. I won't fight today. I'm going out. Where are you going? Muronging furrowed her brows. She was a little unhappy. Li Fan was getting busier and busier. He didn't seem like a high school student anymore. It's a personal matter. You can wait at home. I'll be back for dinner. After saying that, Li Fan jumped out of the window. This annoying guy. Can't he just leave through the door? Muronging couldn't do anything to Li Fan now. This guy was getting more and more stubborn. Did the son-in-law go out again? Tai Zhu happened to walk in with a plate of food. She had prepared an exquisite nutritious meal for Miss and the son-in-law, but it would probably take a few tries to heat it up. Li Fan used Qinggong along the way and finally arrived at Jianggan district on time. He thought for a moment. The other party should know his approximate location and calculated the fastest time he could get here. These people should also know his identity as a martial artist. It could be said that they knew some information about him like the back of their hand. Who could these people be? Li Fan couldn't help but mutter. This matter must have been planned. However, no matter what the other party did, he would receive it all. Furthermore, Li Fan would never let off anyone who dared to lay a hand on his brother. What Li Fan hated the most were those who didn't dare to come after him, but the people around him. Towards such people, Li Fan only wanted to say one thing: cowards, fuck your grandpa. The phone booth was right in front of him. Just as Li Fan arrived, his phone rang. He immediately picked up the phone. Sure enough, it was the kidnapper's voice again. Looks like you're punctual. The voice on the phone made Li Fan's fist itch. In that case, our Mr. Li may be able to do better. 10 minutes, hurry to the riverside, there will be a boat waiting for you. In 10 minutes, whether you arrive or not, the boat will leave. That's the only way you can save your good-for-nothing brother. Li Fan threw the phone away and immediately used his strongest Qinggong, dear scamper. If it wasn't for Li Fan's Qinggong, he might not be able to reach the riverside in 10 minutes. Even if he drove, it would take half an hour to reach the riverside. When he arrived at the riverside, the boat had already left the port. There was still a distance of lake water between it and Li Fan. The sparkling lake water reflected the moonlight, as if it was mocking Li Fan. The boatman didn't care about Li Fan at all, and even gave Li Fan a middle finger. Humph. Li Fan stood by the lake and snorted coldly. He bent his body slightly, and the true energy in his body was poured into his calf. Li Fan's body bent, and then his body suddenly bounced up like a rocket. In the blink of an eye, he jumped from the shore, and in the blink of an eye, he was in the air. His body paused in the air, and then both his feet bounced back, and he stepped on the air. The collision with the air was like colliding with the ground. Li Fan felt like he had a physical body, and his body once again jumped far away. Almost in the blink of an eye, he was in the air above the boat. Li Fan could use Qinggong to float on the water, but he chose to use the method of jumping in the air. This was a move that he created by combining Yan Kai's cloud ladder. Yan Kai's cloud ladder was to use the left foot to step on the right foot, which produced a push. But Li Fan was different. He directly used his true energy to collide with the air, which gave him the power to move forward. This method sounded very fantastical, but for an expert in the use of true energy like Li Fan, it was something that could be done. However, every time he kicked, it would become weaker and weaker. Li Fan's current limit was 2 kicks, and the third time would be too weak to kick. But for Li Fan, 2 times was enough. The boatman was dumbfounded. This was the first time he saw such a person. Is he still a human? He actually jumped from such a far place to here. That was a distance of nearly 100 meters. How is this possible? This is simply inconceivable. Bang! Li Fan's feet heavily stepped on the boat, causing the boat to shake on the water. The boatman was so scared that he quickly held the rudder. Do I need to buy a ticket? Li Fan looked at the boatman and laughed. No, no need. The boatman quickly waved his hand. He was actually a boatman. Someone hired him to wait here to pick up someone. Li Fan did not want to vent his anger on this boatman. He quietly stood on the boat, waiting for the boat to approach his destination. At this time, Li Fan's phone rang. The call was from an unknown number. I hope our Mr. Li has successfully boarded the boat. Thank you for your concern. I will go and see you now. Li Fan suppressed his anger and said, I hope you and my brother are alive. Mr. Li has a big temper. The hooded man's voice on the phone was full of sarcasm. I know Mr. Li is a famous martial artist, a great master. The next time I see you, it may be really dangerous. So, I made some insurance for myself. What insurance? Before you come, the boatman will give you a pill. After you take this pill, I will let you continue your journey. While talking, the boatman handed over a pill. Li Fan looked at it and already knew what it was. Cartilage powder. Bingo, that's right. The hooded man seemed to be very happy. I also spent a lot of effort to get it. Don't worry and eat it. Everything about you is under my supervision. If you don't eat it, not only the boat will not come, but your brother will also immediately die here. Don't make things difficult for Lei, I will eat it. Li Fan took the pill and swallowed it in one gulp. Are you relieved now? Good, 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 this is a real man. The hooded man was overjoyed. You will see your brother soon, I will keep my word. The call ended. In less than 5 minutes, the boat docked on a small island in the middle of a lake. Chapter 301. The island was not very big. There were several houses on it, which seemed to be for tourists. The river in City A was very big, and there were many islands like this on it. If the other party did not tell him the location, Li Fan would not be able to find this place in a short time. Li Fan felt that there seemed to be a huge invisible net, and he was caught in it. Please go to the island, little brother. The boatman docked the boat on the shore, let Li Fan go ashore, and then drove away. There was rolling river water all around. In this season, the river water was very cold. If Li Fan wanted to leave, he must have a boat. If he used lightness skill, he would fall into the lake within 100 meters. If he swam, the river water in this season was bone-chilling, and he was afraid that he would freeze to death. Like lightness skill, there was also a limit to lightness skill. Running on the water, with the help of the lightness of the true qi in the body, plus the inertia when running on the shore, people could run a distance of 100 meters on the river water. But the river water was the river water, and the human weight could not completely break the law of physics. Even if Li Fan used the sky-swallowing toad, he could at most glide twice the distance on the river. Now they were obviously too far away from the land, more than a kilometer away. If he wanted to go back to the shore, the answer could only be 3 words, impossible. In the darkness, there seemed to be a big hand silently grasping at Li Fan. He let his heart sink. No matter what the move was, he would take it all. The island was full of dead leaves, covering the ground. When Li Fan's shoes fell on it, it would make a squeaking sound, like the wailing of the leaves. The moon also quietly hid behind the dark clouds, covering the island with a dark feeling, which made people feel a little uneasy. Li Fan took a few deep breaths, feeling that the night air was cold. Lei Zi, please don't let anything happen to you. Li Fan was praying in his heart. Although Huang Lei didn't know any martial arts, and sometimes he was particularly improper, he had followed his brother from the beginning. There was only one principle between brothers, and that was to never abandon each other. No matter what price he had to pay, Li Fan had to rescue Huang Lei. The moon peeked out slightly, and the moonlight shone on the island, illuminating the small houses. These small houses were all classic wooden buildings, and they gave off a feeling of vicissitudes. At the same time, Li Fan's phone rang. He picked it up and heard the man in the hoodie sneering. It seems that Mr. Li is quite punctual. In that case, I should open the door to welcome Mr. Li. The call ended, and a small wooden house lit up with a dim yellow light, as if summoning Li Fan. Li Fan's body lightly leaped, and with 2 leaps, he arrived in front of the small wooden hut. It seemed that the hut was really waiting for Li Fan. The door of the small wooden hut was open, and the light inside was still dim. Li Fan stepped on the wooden steps and walked into the hut. Huang Lei was sitting in the small wooden hut, but was naked, and he was tied to a chair. Next to him stood a man in a hoodie with a mask. The man in the hoodie was sitting on a sofa, playing with a doll in his hand, and there was a 5-shot pistol on his lap. Li Fan felt that the scene was a bit disharmonious. A doll and a 5-shot pistol were 2 completely different concepts. Could it be that this fellow was a psychopath? Next to the man in the hoodie, there were two gunmen with the same mask. They stood behind Huang Lei, and their muzzles were pointing at the back of Huang Lei's head. After Li Fan walked into the hut, a red dot appeared on his neck. Li Fan's heart sank. This time, the treatment was really good. They even prepared a sniper for him. "I've heard a lot about you, Mr. Li." The man in the hoodie didn't raise his head and said slowly, "Although I've heard rumors about you, I'm still a bit surprised to see you in person. Mr. Li is really young, hee. I'm okay." Li Fan was neither servile nor overbearing. With his hands behind his back, he stood in front of the man in the hoodie and lightly said, "I'm here. Can you let go of my brother first, and then we can talk about it?" TSK. What a deep brotherhood. The man in the hoodie seemed to sneer, "I admire you very much, but I can't promise you Mr. Li's strength. I've heard of it. Su Chen's territory was completely destroyed by you. I heard that even that Guan Wenbao was knocked off his horse by you. As for me, I'm just an ordinary nobody. If you want to beat me, I don't have the ability to resist. I'm born with no sense of security, so I need to give myself some insurance." While speaking, he picked up his 5-shot rifle with his left hand and pressed it on Huang Lei's temple. "Although this person is a scum, he still has some use. There's no need to say such useless nonsense." Li Fan's eyes were like a torch, staring at the man in the hoodie in front of him. "What's your purpose of calling me here?" "Mr. Li, as a martial arts master, you're interfering in the underworld's affairs. Isn't that a bit inappropriate?" The man in the hoodie laughed. "It's not that I want to trouble you, but the people in the underworld are not satisfied with you. Someone is now offering money to kill you. I also have to make money to support my family. Mr. Li, you must understand, right? Then can I ask, who wants to kill me?" "That won't do. Don't look at me like this, I'm a man of my word." The man in the hoodie laughed. "Keeping my word is my basic professional principle. So, it's impossible to leak my employer's information." "That's really a pity." Li Fan sighed. "If you explain, I can spare your life." The man in the hoodie stared, and at the same time, the sniper rifle had already fired. Li Fan's body moved like lightning and disappeared in front of the man in the hoodie. Without any hesitation, the man in the hoodie raised his 5-shot rifle and fired. Bang! Bang! The first gunshot came from the sniper rifle. The bullet hit the ground where Li Fan was standing. At this moment, in front of Li Fan, there was a row of bullets. The man in the hoodie was very scary. His judgment was very accurate. When Li Fan used the spirit monkey to escape, he had already fired. Although his speed was not as fast as Li Fan, the bullets were fast enough. At that moment, Li Fan's heart was beating fast. If he was not careful, he would be shot. Great sage picking the stars. The time around Li Fan seemed to have stopped. His hands stretched out like lightning and caught all the bullets in front of him. Wonderful. The man in the hoodie's 5-shot rifle once again pressed against Huang Lei's temple. "However, your brother is going to meet the king of hell." Chapter 302. Li Fan's eyes widened. The man in the hoodie's fingers were slowly closing. He was not deliberately slowing down, but in Li Fan's eyes, everything had slowed down. At that moment, Li Fan could clearly see Huang Lei's twisted expression due to fear. At such a moment, no one would not be afraid. Even if it was Li Fan himself, with a gun pointed at his temple, he would probably be so nervous that he would twitch. However, Li Fan would not let Lei die. He suddenly raised his right hand and activated the power of the sky-devouring toad. His palm erupted with a strong true qi, and the wind generated from his palm hit the man in the hoodie. The wind generated from Li Fan's palm was not something that an ordinary person could withstand. If an ordinary person were to be hit by Li Fan's palm, they would definitely be smashed to pieces. However, in order to protect his brother, Li Fan did not care so much. The man in the hoodie's body was sent flying and smashed into the wooden wall behind him. His body somersaulted in the air and landed firmly on the ground. At that moment, a metal coat appeared on his body. It was unknown when he had put it on. The man in the hoodie moved his arms, and a mechanical sound could be heard from his body. Not bad. So, this is Qigong. Li Fan stretched out his hands and knocked out the two gunmen. Then, he kicked Huang Lei's chair to the blind spot to avoid being hit by the snipers. All these actions were completed at the same time. Li Fan raised his head and looked at the man in the hoodie who was standing outside. An autumn rain also arrived, and the raindrops fell on the hooded man's body. This is a personal armor developed by the United States. The man in the hoodie stood in the rain and looked at Li Fan with a proud smile. The metal armor was gray and a bit dark. The raindrops flowed down the armor and reflected the ice blue lights on the armor, making it look very high-tech. Li Fan noticed that on his shoulder, there was a unique logo with a row of English symbols, Storm. This suit of armor can vastly increase the fighting prowess of a soldier. Compared to technology like this, your energy arts aren't even worth mentioning. The hooded man seemed to be very confident in his own strength. He reached out with his mechanical gauntlet and grabbed onto a nearby tree. He only used a little bit of force and the tree was directly broken by his palm. Do you see? This is technology. Have you ever heard of the saying that technology is the #1 productive force of mankind? No matter who you are, you must pay the price for touching my brother's people. Li Fan adjusted the true qi in his body. He let all 36,000 pores on his body begin to breathe in and out at the same time, speeding up the flow of true qi in his body and accelerating his metabolism. He had never dealt with such a warframe expert before. Li Fan had to go all out. His heart was like an officially operating V8 engine. Li Fan actually felt a little excited. His eyes were fixed on the hooded man in front of him. He didn't want to miss a single detail. The sniper was still lurking nearby, and Li Fan maintained his blind spot. Although I want to play with you, my mission is to kill you. The hooded man said and grabbed a tactical shotgun from behind his back. This tactical shotgun had a clip on the chamber, and there were 8 red shotgun shells in it. There was a tactical flashlight on the butt of the shotgun, and it shone dazzlingly in the rainy night. Goodbye. The hooded man suddenly shone the flashlight on Li Fan's face. At that moment, the strong light blinded Li Fan's eyes. Bang! The hooded man immediately fired a shot, and the bullet slanted as if it wanted to swallow Li Fan. Although Li Fan had closed his eyes, his hearing was still very sensitive. He heard the sound of the bullets tearing through the air and arriving in front of Li Fan. Li Fan's body suddenly fell to the ground, and the bullet grazed his scalp. Toad strike. Spirit toad soar. As Li Fan's body bounced into the air, the hooded man fired a shot at the spot where Li Fan had just landed. Li Fan spun in the air. While he was in the air, he pressed down on the ground where the hooded man was standing. Heaven-swallowing toad, divine toad destroyer. The wind from the palm was released and instantly pressed down on the hooded man's body. The hooded man didn't seem to be able to block it completely. His body knelt on the ground, and a huge palm print appeared under his body. This palm print was 1 square meter, and it was completely condensed by Li Fan's true qi. The wind from this palm was enough to crush a person into meat paste. However, only the armor on the hooded man's body was slightly deformed, and he was still intact. He crouched on the ground and fired 3 shots at Li Fan in the air. Li Fan used 1,000-pound drop in the air and instantly fell to the ground, dodging the 3 bullets. However, the hooded man's muzzle was already pointed at the ground and fired a shot. Bang! The shrapnel arrived in front of Li Fan. He stretched out his hands in front of him, and his powerful true qi acted like a protective armor, blocking the shrapnel. Sky-devouring toad was Li Fan's strongest state. In this state, he could use 200% of his true qi. At the same time, Li Fan's true qi was 3 times that of an ordinary martial artist. His blood flowed faster, and his brain was in a state of excitement. This is strange. The hooded man looked at the shrapnel floating in front of Li Fan, as if it was stuck in an invisible wall. Finally, he was surprised. Qigong can actually be this strong? There's something more interesting. Do you want to see? As Li Fan spoke, he flicked his palm, and the shrapnel in front of him flew away. The hooded man reacted quickly and immediately hid behind a big tree. Dang, dang, dang. The shrapnel was embedded in the tree, and it was deeply embedded. If it hit a person, it would be enough to turn that person into a sieve. What a surprise. The hooded man said while reloading the shotgun, I didn't expect you to have such fighting power. I have to admit, I underestimated you. Your time has come. Li Fan took a step back, avoiding the sniper bullet in front of him. At the same time, he waved his hand, and a shrapnel flew out, hitting the sniper in the distance and knocking him to the ground. 2 shots allowed Li Fan to find the position of the sniper. I have to admit, fighting with you is quite interesting. The hooded man suddenly appeared from behind the tree and fired a shot. Li Fan once again blocked the shrapnel and reflected it back, but the hooded man dodged it by moving. It seems that I have to talk to the employer and increase the price. It's useless. You're not my opponent. Li Fan said, your gun is useless against me. As soon as Li Fan's voice fell, a tear gas suddenly rolled under him. Chapter 303. Puchi. The tear gas burst out with suffocating smoke, but Li Fan immediately closed all the pores on his body and jumped out of the smoke, landing on the roof of the wooden house. But at this moment, Li Fan frowned. He extended his hand and grabbed an arrow that was shot in front of him. The arrowhead of the arrow suddenly split open, and an electrode popped out and hit Li Fan's shoulder. It was just a small electrode, but it exploded with an unbearable power. Li Fan felt as if his body was bitten by millions of mosquitoes, causing him to kneel on the ground in pain. His body trembled uncontrollably, and even saliva flowed out from the corner of his mouth. As the tear gas gradually dissipated, the hooded man stood in the rain with a composite bow in his hand and looked at Li Fan. This is really unexpected. The hooded man looked at Li Fan with surprise in his eyes. The electrode on this arrow can take down an elephant. But you are still standing. Unbelievable. Li Fan endured the strong discomfort in his body, stood on the roof and pulled out the electrode on his shoulder. The hooded man had already pulled back his bow and aimed at Li Fan. Let us test how long you can last. As soon as the hooded man finished speaking, he shot 3 arrows at Li Fan in a row. If it was any other time, Li Fan's great sage star-picking skill would be able to deal with these 3 arrows easily. But the current Li Fan's body is very weak. He only managed to catch 2 arrows, and the 3rd arrow pierced his calf. The strength of this arrow is very strong, and it pierced through his calf just like that. Li Fan finally couldn't help but kneel on the roof, but he used one hand to support his body. What a warrior. If we weren't enemies, I'd really have to praise you. The hooded man couldn't help but laugh. However, I also like hunting experts like you the most. With that, the hooded man took out an arrow from a metal box beside him and knocked it on the composite bow. At this moment, Li Fan felt that the whole world has slowed down. It was so quiet around him that he could almost hear himself bleeding. Weakness filled his body, and the numbness from the electric current still lingered in Li Fan's body. But for some reason, Li Fan felt that this electric current was also a form of energy, similar to true energy. Li Fan had a strange idea. If he could control his true qi, would he be able to control this electric current? As the world slowed down, Li Fan began to control the electric current that entered his body, letting it circulate in his body in his own way. At this moment, there was a huge thunderbolt in the sky, as if it was going to tear the night sky in half. That kind of thunderous shock penetrated deep into the bone marrow. The hooded man had already fired his arrow. This time, it was aimed at Li Fan's head. Li Fan's eyes emitted a blue electric light. He exhaled and felt as if he was struck by lightning. Dodge! Electricity. Dear. With one hand on the ground, Li Fan flipped his body and kicked the arrow away with an electric current. By turning the electric current into his own strength, Li Fan strengthened his body, but at the same time, it also brought a terrible burden to his body. He endured the tearing pain in his body and stood on the roof, looking at the hooded man below him. Rushing thunder kick. Li Fan's body jumped down from the roof, and the whip kick carried the electric current, aiming directly at the hooded man's neck. The hooded man threw away the bow and arrow and used his hands to push away Li Fan's calf. Bang! The strong electric current and Li Fan's kick immediately sent the hooded man's body flying more than 3 meters away. His feet left deep grooves on the ground, and the rainwater splashed up. Interesting, the hooded man felt the electric current on his palm, and his hand felt numb. What a scary man. He can actually turn the electric current into his own strength. Looks like I have to deal with you seriously. After saying that, the hooded man kicked the iron box next to him. The iron box immediately bounced open, and the hooded man stretched out his hand. 2 rod-like objects popped out from the box and fell into his hand. He combined them together and then flicked his hand. Shwa! Blades popped out from the 2 parts of the rod, and a double-edged sword appeared in his hand. God knows how many weapons were stored in this box, and they provided the hooded man with powerful attack power. The hunt begins. Remember my name, I am Warhammer. After saying that, he bent his knees, and the machine wrapped around his knees began to operate. The man named Warhammer jumped up to a height of more than 5 meters. Like a cannonball, the double-edged sword in his hand spun and slashed toward Li Fan's waist. Li Fan's body also bounced and jumped into the air, dodging the blade of Warhammer. As for Warhammer, he turned around in the air and opened his palm toward Li Fan. A compressed hunting net popped out from his hand and bloomed in the air, directly covering Li Fan. Li Fan's body was in the air, and he had nowhere to hide. However, he raised his right foot high and slashed down. Lightning flashed, as if another lightning bolt had struck down. The hunting net was directly split in half by Li Fan. What a powerful force! Even the battle-hardened Warhammer couldn't help but feel surprised. In just a short moment, the power of electric current was fully utilized by Li Fan, causing Warhammer to suffer losses time and time again. Such a prey was a bit tricky. Li Fan once again appeared in front of Warhammer. His body rotated and kicked out with a whirlwind kick, bringing with it a blue electric light. This was the lightning deer's rushing thunder kick. Every time it kicked, it would bring with it the power of electricity, greatly enhancing Li Fan's attack power. The Warhammer disassembled its own blade, divided into 2, and constantly blocked Li Fan's rushing thunder feet. Warhammer still didn't panic. As he retreated, he searched for Li Fan's weak point. Li Fan saw through Warhammer's goal. Although this fellow was battle-hardened, Li Fan was the true expert in combat. Li Fan deliberately revealed an opening. Warhammer's eyes flashed, thinking that he had found the right opportunity. He immediately slashed out with both hands, and the 2 blades slashed toward Li Fan's neck. Dear lock! Li Fan grabbed Warhammer's wrist with both hands, suppressing his attack. At the same time, Li Fan twisted his waist and kicked Warhammer's chest. 9 deer soars to the sky. 9 kicks in a row, causing Warhammer's armor to cave in. His armor was now deformed quite badly. Warhammer's other hand suddenly burst out with a force, pushing Li Fan's body away. Li Fan's body flipped in the air and landed firmly on the ground. With one foot on the ground, he raised his other leg and curled it in front of him, faintly emitting lightning. Warhammer, no matter who sent you, I won't be lenient. Li Fan raised his right hand and extended 3 fingers. Within 3 moves, you will lose. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.